win the bet, but he's just hanging on, oh, dangling like Hunter cigarette. Hunter types with the hookah pipe say, walk like a Joe Biden. And when he boards Air Force One, he spins around and he hits the floor. He's got the moves, he hits the deck, then he hits some more. All the Dems are so sick of Joe, they really would like to see him end. He his pants, when he went to the Vatican. All the kids in the DNC say, slide your feet up the street, hump your back, stiffen your arms, don't pull them back. Life's hard, you know, when entering in the Cadillac. If you wanna know where it stops, it ends in dementia and the cops, they sing and dance, when finding the confidential docs. Then they arrest all his men while Putin laughs in the Kremlin. And the Chinese know, he's owned by them and Ukrainians. All the cops in the DOJ say, walk like a Joe Biden. Walk like a Joe Biden.
Are you ready, kids? I can't hear you! Oh! Who lives in a swamp right under the sea? Who sniffs your aunt's head and won't let her flee? Who touches your mom and gropes all the kids? Be sure not to tell your dad what I did! Horny! Biden Grabass! Biden Grabass! Biden Grabass! Biden Grabass! Do not attempt the training techniques you are about to see without consulting a professional. Tonight on Crowder 911.
I don't think Joe Biden knows what he's doing.
A physically inappropriate politician
He's at the point where he gropes every person that walks by. Hey, stop!
wreaks havoc on the lives of his voters.
Joe! Not again.
At first I thought it was cool, but then he started kissing my neck and sniffing me.
No! Hey! No!
This Joe Biden was clearly out of control, and it was time for someone to do something about it.
Quarter person of color Garrett and his co-worker Maddie have been dealing with a politician with no respect for boundaries or personal space.
Hey, corner black.
Hey.
What seems to be the problem?
Well, it's Joe Biden here. He won't stop sniffing and kissing people. It's a real problem. I've done everything. I don't know what to do.
Okay, see, the first thing you did is right now, when you're very tense. You're giving off that energy, and you actually encourage that behavior.
I encourage it?
That's right.
Okay. Oh, what do I do?
The first thing we need you to do is get your Joe Biden to a calm, relaxed state. And we're gonna do that with no talk, no touch, no eye contact. Okay?
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
It's okay to drop the leash. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Now, see what I did is I do a small correction when Joe Biden goes in to kiss him. See? I'm stopping the brain from escalating to a state of sexual assault. That's right.
I just feel bad for him. I don't think Joe Biden knows what he's doing.
My correction is not to hurt Joe Biden, but just to snap the brain out of it. Okay, now you try. It's okay. Okay. That's okay. No? Calm, assertive. Come on, sort of. Hey. See, this quarter black is giving off a tense energy and escalating. He's asking himself, is it Joe Biden gonna kiss my neck? Is he gonna make a hair puppet? And Joe Biden is already escalating his energy to match. And he's rubbing shoulders and kissing the faces. Calm, assertive. That's it. That's right. You're the alpha of the pack. Hey, yes, that's it. Okay, correction. Correct. Yeah, that's right. Because he can only have water when you say he can have water. Oh, okay. That's right. Boundaries, consistency. Now you can have water. You can have. Now, this quarter black was doing really good with his Joe Biden. So it's time to introduce a new challenge. Okay, took you, Maddie? It's okay. Go. It's okay.
Coming up on Crowder 911.
That's not good.
When you were here before, could have guessed that you were 5. You smell like a bagel. Adult girls make me cry. You float my old tugboat in my bountiful depends. I wish I was special. You're so f***ing special. But I'm a creep. I'm a pedo. How the hell did I get here? How did I get here? I know my butt's been wiped.
What butt's been wiped?
I can't help when I pee. I want a perfect toddler. I want a perfect tween. I hope they don't notice when I'm sniffing around. You're so f***ing special. These kids smell so special. But I'm a creep. I'm a pedo. How the hell did I get here? How did I get here?
By the way, you gave me permission to touch you.
Sniffing kids makes me happy. It's all I ever want. They smell f***ing special. These kids smell so special. But I'm a creep. I'm a pedo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong. long hair.
Biden farts do-do-do-do-do-do. Biden farts do-do-do-do-do-do. Biden farts do-do-do-do-do-do. Biden farts.
Biden sharts do 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 do. Biden sharts do 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 do. Biden sharts do 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 do. Biden sharts with the poke do 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 do. With the poke do 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 do. With the poke do 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 do. Biden sharts with the Dutch do 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 do. With the Dutch do 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 do. With the Dutch do 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 do. Biden farts. Biden farts do 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 do. Biden farts do 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 do. Biden farts do 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 do. Biden farts.
Well, let me say this as clearly as I can. I'm staying in the race.
Hey, Carl, good morning. The Biden campaign is now holding firm this morning and saying that President Biden is remaining in the race for his re-election.
Our campaign is not working through any scenarios where President Biden is not the top of the ticket. He is and will be the Democratic nominee.
I think as the dust clears on this thing, this campaign has still got 4 months to go. And I think that Joe Biden is going to be the nominee.
What's Joe going to do? Is he going to stay in the race?
This guy, I'm going to change my Deadpool prediction.
You don't think he makes it?
Jesus, I don't know.
Is he going to drop out? What's he going to do?
Well, he's the nominee and he's running, and just look at what we've accomplished over the last few years.
The bottom line is Joe Biden is running. He'll continue to run. It'll take, I find it very hard to believe that he'll be replaced.
Folks, you probably noticed there's a lot of speculation lately. What's Joe Biden going to do? Is he going to stay in the race?
Do you still maintain, Alex Jones, that Biden will not be the nominee this election?
I 100% agree with you and the rest of your great pundits there.
We need to honor and respect the will of the voters who have selected him as our Democratic nominee.
I'm the most qualified person to run for president. I beat him once, and I will beat him again.
The message from President Biden today: the debate over his debate is over.
I am not going anywhere. I am running, and we're going to win.
30 days from now, I don't think Joe Biden's going to be the nominee.
Now, we should note, the White House and the campaign firmly deny this. They say Biden is sticking in this race. Biden has come out and said the delegates are his.
The Biden team insists there are no conversations at the White House or at the campaign about him bowing out.
I'm the nominee of the Democratic Party, the only Democrat or Republican who has beaten Donald Trump ever. And I'm going to beat him again.
Does anybody want to bet me to be a new nominee?
I know.
2 weeks.
Look, absolutely the president's in this race. You've heard him say that time and time again.
I am not going anywhere. I wouldn't be running if I didn't absolutely believe that I am the best candidate to beat Donald Trump in 2024. I'm the nominee. I'm the nominee of this party because 14 million Democrats like you voted for me in the primaries.
Joe Biden will not be the Democratic Party nominee.
You may be the nominee. No one else, not the press, not the pundits, not the insiders, not donors. You, the voters, you decided. No one else. And I'm not going anywhere.
Despite his announcement, President Biden won't be his party's nominee next year.
End this farce that Joe Biden is going to be your nominee. We know he's not even the president of the United States. He's a puppet for the managerial class. So have the guts to step up and be honest about who you're actually going to put up.
So is there any chance that the president gets out of this race at any point?
You have heard from the president directly time and again. He is in this race to win, and he is our nominee, and he's going to be our president for a second term.
I am running and going to win again. I'm staying in the race.
This is the most important election in our lifetime. Donald Trump is not going to be debating or running for election against just Kamala Harris. He's going to be running for election against the entire media establishment.
You'll be happy. Big stuff.
The same media that suppressed the Hunter Biden laptop story.
This is the hard drive they're on.
Oh, my word. The same media that encouraged big tech and colluded with the White House to have the voices of political dissent to be removed.
All major tech platforms be responsible and be vigilant to ensure the American people have access to accurate information. And that certainly includes Spotify.
The same media who cheered as this administration toward the very fibers of our constitutional republic and the First Amendment.
Hitler was duly elected.
They tell you to save democracy by voting for them.
He will be a dictator on day one. I will, quote, terminate the United States Constitution.
They keep saying he's a threat to democracy.
Donald Trump is a great threat to our democracy.
Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans quote a clear
and present danger to our democracy. And what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week I took a bullet for democracy. What did I do against democracy?
You said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye.
I didn't say crosshairs.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I said bullseye.
I'm staying in the race.
End this farce that Joe Biden is going to be your nominee.
Does anybody want to bet me there'll be a new nominee?
Biden will not be the nominee this election.
I 100% agree.
He's a puppet for the managerial class. So have the guts to step up and be honest about who you're actually going to put on.
This November, 2024, we are gearing up for the election live stream of the century. We are going to not only have our own news data wires, be able to call states as no one has been able to do outside of legacy media in the past. We are going to have on-the-ground reporters in every single major swing state, every major city in those states, and we are going to have the electoral integrity map where not only can you fill it in yourself as far as the electoral votes, but any funny business that is going on will be interactively available live right there. So we are trying to make sure that nothing happens in the dark, because last time it was great to have the biggest stream out there. We're very appreciative. But when they called Arizona, for example, smelled like BS, but I couldn't prove to you why. That never happens again. And this is, without a doubt, the most important election of our lifetime. So set your calendar. Oh, very glad to be with you. I'm glad. I just had to look at the monitor because I was sweating testicles in my office. It was 80 something with 100% humidity. Still no air here, but we're here for you. So glad to be with you tonight. This is the Biden failed us stream. We're looking forward to doing this. Not that he failed us. We're not looking forward to that. But he's going to be giving his speech tonight. Withdrawing from the race. He's still president. No idea how that makes sense. And look, we're going to a few things tonight. Okay, first off, you can use the hashtag Biden failed us. This is all gearing up for the election stream, November 5th, 2024. It's the election live stream of the century, the Rumble on Rumble. We need your support. We appreciate it. Not only are we going to be here with you, we're not just going to be observing the election, we are going to be calling the election. We have news wires, we have real-time data analysts, we have people in every major city, every major swing state in the country, and we have this live electoral integrity map. So not only do you get to see states being called, but you will get to see any shenanigans, tomfoolery, malarkey, if you want to use that term. I think we need to put a moratorium on it, throughout the election. And we will not leave this stream until you guys have an answer on how the election has turned out. So tonight, look, really quickly, we expect Joe Biden to pass the torch to Kamala. We expect him to keep this speech pretty short. We're going to make some bets. What we're going to do is go through this timeline from the debate to now, exactly what transpired, the dishonesty that you've experienced. We're then going to get into Kamala Harris, because right now they're pivoting fast. People on the right need to pivot quickly. What you need to know about her, what I think what we all think Donald Trump should be doing with her, and how the media is going to treat her. You need to know something. The media is going to make her out to be an angel. They're going to make her out to be perfect. So there's a very specific strategy that needs to be used. They're already accusing you of being sexist, of being racist. And we know that after his speech, however short it may be, CNN, all the people who placed the knife in his back, they're going to now take just enough time to remove it and talk about what a great president he was and talk about what a great man Joe Biden was. Well, we have a tribute to him, and it is a what a piece of shit segment, because I do not subscribe to that lie. We have our very own tribute. I believe that he is a bad person, not Hitler. Certainly not worthy of any political violence, but the kind of person who you work with and you don't like because they're dishonest, you don't trust them, and they're kind of a piece of shit. So, yes, Hitler bad. All of that and more. I have number 2, Captain Morgan, CEO. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to tonight.
Yes.
I think we have a pretty substantial case to make.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good pivot. Donald Trump is already taking some of our advice even before we've given it out, which I don't know how he does that, but he's doing it on Twitter already. So I'll get to that.
Stop being so self-important. He doesn't care about you. He pointed at your shirt once.
Advice. No, I didn't.
You had mustard on it.
And it was this shirt, by the way. I framed it, and then I took it out of the frame to wear it for tonight. So
yes. All right. And then we also... you need to bring up, before I bring up our man next to me, the man of the hour. I don't know why he's the man.
I'm not the man of the hour.
You're just a man.
What the hell?
I'm not a man of any hour.
You're a man, and it's an hour.
Yeah.
So
I'm shaped
it could
like an hourglass.
That's not... Don't be so... Hey, you're better than that. You're better than that. You should be chin up.
Really? No.
Drinking game rules tonight.
Yeah,
Drinking game
there we
rules
go.
throughout the Biden speech. Anytime you will drink anytime Joe mentions a threat to democracy, anytime he lies about the economy, anytime Joe says the word Kamala. It's a word, not a name.
Or Kamala.
Anytime Joe says, listen, and you finish your drink.
We're so screwed up.
You finish your drink if the speech lasts longer than 10 minutes, or if Biden has a dementia moment, or if someone on CNN cries.
Van Jones, I'm looking at you.
I'm betting on Van Jones.
Van Jones is there. He is the cryingest of criers.
It's your worst nightmare. Van Jones is crying on CNN.
Oh, here we go.
It's your worst nightmare. We're doing this again.
We're doing this again. And next to me, he's going to be at the Dallas Comedy Club July 28th. Mr. Josh Firestine, how are you, sir?
Good. Good. Are we making predictions? I got a bold prediction.
Let's place a bet out there. Question, okay, don't cheat if you're watching the archive.
Yeah.
How long do you think this speech is going to be? Pause it, comment below. And by the way, when this speech happens, we're going to pull back, of course, air the speech in its entirety, and be ready to fact check it immediately afterward. There will be nothing that takes place tonight that is a lie before you go to bed that we do not hit. How long do you think the speech is going to be?
All 3 minutes of it, you mean?
Do you think 3?
No, I mean, I honestly am shooting for somewhere around, I think I said under 5 earlier, maybe 5 to 7. I'll have to stick in that neighborhood.
Right.
5 to 7 minutes because he stumbles through his words a lot and he loses his train of thought a lot, so that might take a little longer. There's like 8 words on a page and it'll be 20 minutes.
Okay, so how long do you think?
5 to 7 is my range. 5 to 7 minutes.
In stand-up, we call that a guest spot.
Yeah,
yes.
Pretty much.
How long do you
Under 10
think?
for sure.
I think 15 minutes.
You think 15 minutes?
I think he's got things to say,
If
and
it's
I've got
over 10, I'm stripping
Okay,
naked
let's
and
place a
streaking,
bet.
okay?
$100.
Wait a minute.
$100 to one Mug Club member there who is in chat.
Okay.
Who sends in the best chat or picture tonight. $100 to that. So one of us has to pay it.
Okay. All right.
I say over 10 minutes. You say under 10 minutes.
I say under for sure. You have the over.
You're out $100.
I don't think I am.
You're out.
Also, don't take it from petty cash.
You didn't say who's $100.
Take it from petty bets.
So you bet it. You bet over 15.
Over 15. Yeah, I think. I think it's a big announcement tonight.
10 of you employees are really unlucky. You just all lost $10 of your next paycheck.
Oh, come on now. That's not fair. Toolman, bring up CNN right here. They are gearing up for this. We have some segments I'm really proud of that we're going to get to here. We also tonight. I forgot to tell you. We have Kamala Harris's dad on tonight. We have Donald J. Harris.
Really?
That's his real name.
Sorry, say it again.
Donald J. Harris.
There's no way.
Is his real name.
That's fantastic.
We have a 7+1. Actually, we have some inside sources. 7+1 things that Biden will be doing in retirement. That, of course, is going to be after his speech. And a very nice, what a piece of shit tribute. Mm-hmm. I know you think it's childish. I know that you think it's lowbrow. Correct.
That's how we like it.
True.
Yes.
We like a little lowbrow and childish.
He's such a bad person. Let's go to CNN right now. I guarantee you they're trying to convince you that Kamala Harris is winning, even though she has yet to do a damn thing. Let's see what this guy says with non-gay face.
Why is that so important? Well, you know what North Carolina has a lot of...
Oh, whoa, look, they gave Nevada and Arizona to Kamala Harris.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, let's keep watching.
Georgia as well. Look at that. 34% of voters in Georgia are black.
This is actually worse for her. You don't realize that.
So they think that North Carolina...
The blacker the area, the worse she does.
Voters nationally could, in fact, put North Carolina into play. I also mentioned Hispanic voters. And why is that important? Well, they don't necessarily...
Yes, because there's nothing that Hispanic voters like more than kind of black women.
Right? Arizona and Nevada. Look here. Look at the large percentage that Hispanics...
Double the national population.
Double the national...
Wow, she can do math.
So this is why they think
hey,
they can play in
it's the year of the woman, guys.
I'm sorry.
Women can do math, too.
A man could have said it, and I would have come up with a different,
I saw that Space NASA Help movie.
He was an Asian, some math Asian.
Black voters and Hispanic voters. We'll see what happens with that. I mean, obviously, the Hispanic voters, you don't know. I mean, she was in charge of the border.
No, we kind of do know, actually. Hispanics were breaking with Biden. It was, at best, a split for Biden and Trump. And we saw quite a few polls, including the New York Times, that showed actually Donald Trump was winning Hispanic voters. And I can't imagine that Kamala Harris is going to fare any better because she is the border czar. Believe it or not, it's a big issue to Hispanic Americans who are here legally. This is what I think Donald Trump needs to do. Okay, you get to keep all the same talking points once we have to deal with Kamala Harris. Kamala, I know. I said Kamala. Deal with it. It's ethnocentric. I'm fine with it. He gets to use the same talking points because if I'm Donald Trump, I go, all right, going to put out some ads every single time they have said a Biden-Harris administration. All of the ammo that you have on the economy, you still use. Then you really go in hard on the fact that she was the border czar, that under her specific purview, over 7 million illegal immigrants crossed just the southern border, while she has been the border czar. I would also get into the fact that you can't trust her because she knew about Biden's failing health and she lied. Outside of that, anytime she brings up a crazy transgender bathroom thing, some LGBTQ woke agenda that's unpopular with moms across the country, pounce on it. Don't talk about abortion outside of, I would oppose a federal ban on abortion. It's settled. It goes to the states. Move on. Also the fact that she is the lawlessness candidate. Remember, she said they shouldn't stop rioting and actually helped post a bail fund. Please tell me, Lord God above, that her VP pick is Pete Buttigieg. He's on CNN right now.
Including North Carolina, Nevada, Arizona, right as Harry was just laying out, all as potential paths that they see to 270, different than the Biden.
If it's Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg, there are going to be a lot of Americans, even who are very far left, and they'll go, that's too,
I don't know.
It's the penis party.
There's the guilt factor, though. They all feel guilty. They're like, if I don't, I'm homophobic.
There's no way that works out well for them. They're so bad at their job. Let's see what he says. I think he's back from breastfeeding after the crash in Palestine, Ohio.
And it's been a part of expanding that map. In addition to competing in places like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, there is huge opportunity in places like North Carolina. You look at the changes, of course, as we went through the last election in places like Georgia. We are back in a conversation about an expanding map.
Changing and lying? Cheating? He's referring to cheating, right?
I do believe so, yes.
One more reason why this is just a very exciting moment for this campaign, for our party.
No, exciting for you was watching Philadelphia on repeat, and you skipped the third act. Let me,
not the city, by the way.
No, not
the transportation in that city.
Absolutely
or the trains
not.
going in and out of it, just, of course.
If that is the think of, you have two people, you have a woman who couldn't win her own home state.
Yep.
And then you have a guy who kind of was given a meaningless job, transportation, and still managed to screw that up.
After taking a 3-month vacation.
It doesn't get any worse than that. Yeah. Let's before we get into this speech, let's kind of break down the timeline here because, and again, the hashtag is Biden failed us. Use it, please, Mug Club Army. Let people know this is going on tonight. We will watch this with you. It's a historic moment. Even though he's still president, don't know how that works, but he can't run. The timeline here matters because it highlights the lie. And you are going to see the lie from the media. We are going to be contrasting Kamala Harris reality versus the media. Just for example, the rally. There was a high school gymnasium and they said arena and they talked about enthusiasm while they downplay what happens with President Donald Trump. But what led to this was a sequence of lie, 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 lie. Everything that we believed to be true, that we've been telling you since the last election, that Joe Biden was unfit, is now obviously true. And by the way, Kamala Harris knew it. So don't let them just sort of shove this down the memory hole. Let's go through the timeline, what led to tonight, okay? This all started June 27th. We were there with you with former Vice President Biden, respect the office, bombing possibly the worst debate performance in American history.
We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
Sorry, right clip.
That's a bomb.
Here's the other one.
And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Oh, my God. Has he had a stroke?
There's a lot of young women are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters, it's just ridiculous.
Why was that microphone 6 miles away from his mumbling mouth?
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
There's no way to sugarcoat this.
And I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery.
The universal reaction was somewhere approaching panic.
But I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
Suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines.
That was painful. He didn't do well at all.
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year.
But I have, you know how many...
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Okay, let's
not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to turn.
Let's not act like children.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question.
And by the way, we have tonight, I will say I'm proudest of our production team for the montages that we have put together. Wait till we get to the Joe Biden's racist one. That's a good one. It's fun.
He gave us a lot of material.
He did give us a lot of material.
Yes.
So that night, you saw what happened, that debate. What we all knew to be true, over 70% of Americans who thought that Biden was unfit for office. At that point in time, you saw CNN, MSNBC, they started to kind of maybe realize it. Oh! And then they said that they felt betrayed by the administration. Lie, 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 lie. How many lies have to take place where you go, at a certain point here, this doesn't just seem like incompetence. How did you not know? People who aren't professionals in the United States, they knew. So immediately after that debate, what happened? Now, finally, you had some people who were not quite calling for him to drop out, but they were asking for some cognitive tests. Here we have this. We have this from Washington Post, NBC, CNN, right? CNN said it's time for President Biden to undergo detailed cognitive blah, 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 blah. Of course, he wouldn't be able to read it, so why should I? References available at Louder with Credit. Every time we do these streams, it's a live show weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern. We do these at night when it's a special event. We provide all of the references publicly. So people were calling. Now, all of a sudden, people realize, wait a second, I think something's going on here. Of course, former Vice President Biden refused to take a cognitive test.
Would you be willing to undergo an independent medical evaluation that included neurological and cognitive tests and release the results to the American people?
Look, I have a cognitive test every single day.
Are you open to taking another physical or test before the election?
Every single day I'm surrounded by good docs. If they think there's a problem, I promise you, or even if they don't think it's a problem, they think I should have a neurological exam again, I'll do it. But no one's suggesting that to me now.
We are.
Seldom does one defend themselves from the attack of neurological incidents while having a neurological incident.
In the process
it makes it harder.
If they say there's something wrong with a problem, even if they say there's not, you can see where he gave up.
Yeah.
Mentally in his eyes, like the boom goes the dynamite kid. So
it's like when he asked Lester Holt what happened at the debate.
Yeah, what? Rub-a-dub-dub. What? Don't want no scrubs.
He's like, I have one of these tests every single day. And I'm like, yeah, you're failing them. That's why we're saying you have to take one.
Yes, exactly.
Every day.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an issue if he didn't keep failing cognitive tests. Exactly. That's kind of why we're having this conversation. So June 28th, this comes from Reuters. Biden says he intends to win the U.S. election. So he was saying, I'm staying in no matter what. Again, this matters because of the lying that had taken place. Do you honestly believe that no one behind the scenes thought that Biden was going to be withdrawing? Then we have July. Okay, you see the calls begin for Biden to start stepping down, including Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, and George Clooney, who had recently raised $30 million for Biden. And then, George Clooney does what he be, a prick. Turned on him when he thought that he couldn't. It's so, just to be clear, when the left talks about democracy, they don't mean the country. They mean party democracy. They mean their party, the Democratic Party, and the democracy of their party, the elites selecting, coronating. That's what's most important. There's nothing democratic about someone who couldn't win their own state being installed, potentially, as president of the United States. Even just a candidate, of course.
Yeah.
But imagine if that actually happens. That is one of the grossest subversions of democracy, and certainly a constitutional republic of our lifetime.
By the way, remember at that fundraiser, I believe that's when Biden froze.
Yes.
And stood on stage for a minute, had to be let off by Obama. And they were like, oh, you guys are just using cut up. So we used the entire wide shot and showed exactly what happened. Then nothing new happened. This was Joe Biden for the last couple of years. And they still did it.
Cheap fakes. Remember?
Yeah, cheap fakes.
Cheap fakes, said Karine Jean-Pierre. Yeah. Within the week of this, she said, these cheap fakes. Again, where do you stop giving them the benefit of the doubt? Let's go through this timeline here. July 5th, ABC said, Defiant Biden insists he's staying in the race. ahead of ABC News interview. July 12th, The Hill. Biden insists he will stay in the race. Voters made me the nominee. July 19th, CNBC. Biden won't drop out. Campaign insists that that's the case in a new memo.
On the 19th, you say?
On the 19th. And then the day before former Vice President Biden dropped out, we have from the AP, Biden resists calls to step aside. Says he'll return to campaign next week.
Well.
So Friday and Saturday. This last Friday and Saturday, Biden canceled a speech in Las Vegas. He went back to Delaware. Yeah. Okay. Tweeted out on Saturday evening, it's a miracle, folks. Donald told the truth for once. It's the most important election of our lifetimes, and I will win it. He did that on Saturday. And I'll tell you this, I was a little late to the party because I watched the news on Sunday morning. I thought, well, I guess nothing's really going on. Some talking heads are coming out, carrying his water, saying Biden's going to be the nominee, so he has a good chance at beating Donald Trump. I didn't know that only a couple hours later, what we all believed to be true and had predicted here came to be. I didn't know when I left for church Sunday morning. Sunday morning, you had these aides. They were reaching out, drumming up support for Biden. I don't know if we actually have the clips from Sunday morning news here. We may not.
I didn't see it, I don't think.
Okay. So then Sunday afternoon, Biden drops out. That's the timeline. Sunday morning on CNN, MSNBC, he's staying in. Sunday afternoon, all anchors on the left collectively said, shit. They and we're supposed to believe that this entire time nobody knew of his cognitive decline, that nobody knew he couldn't beat Donald Trump, that nobody knew he was going to be withdrawing, that he didn't know. And keep in mind, too, there are a lot of weird things that took place, and this sort of lends itself to conspiracy theories out there just because there's a complete lack of transparency. He didn't endorse Kamala right away. He put out a tweet. Didn't let his campaign staff, all of them, know right away. Then, about 30 minutes later, he put out another tweet, or X, whatever you call it now, kind of endorsing Kamala Harris, saying like, yeah, sorry, I was busy. I had a roast in the oven.
She's the girl.
I meant to endorse her. And his signature, we look at this, bring up this overlay. The letter B looks different from his standard signature, the letter that he submitted. There's no junior at the end of the signature. The name is underlined, which is not something he does.
Yeah.
Could be part of the dementia, though. It could be part of that, he doesn't know what he's doing things differently.
Could be, or it could be somebody else just grabbing his mitt and smearing it across the iPad.
Most likely.
Hoping that it qualifies.
Somebody doing it for him.
Like when I leave a tip on Square, or I was thinking, whatever the hell.
I mean, I've forged signatures on my bosses before.
Yeah, I wouldn't admit to that on air, but we've all done it.
Talking about you.
Yeah, but...
and I played no part in it. I was not trying to avoid the fuzz in any way.
You get creative, but you got to keep it strict.
It's fine. So then this Monday, again, this keeps bringing us to where we are today with Kamala Harris. This Monday, Biden called into Kamala's first rally, and she slipped and said recording, but she didn't mean it. They're not lying now.
Julie, if I didn't have COVID, I'd be sitting there with you, standing there with you. I'm so proud of what you've all done. And with this COVID, keeping me out of people's hair for the next 3 or 4 days.
And people thought it was weird, myself included, but that's just opinion. You can comment below. I don't want to bias the jury here. Now, when that was happening, people were a little suspicious because, well, we have the footage from the last time Biden had been seen. Sorry, right clip, but
that's it, yeah.
July 17th, he was getting off a plane in Delaware. I believe we have that where he looked completely out of it. We should probably be able to pull a clip, guys, because he was stumbling down. And then yesterday, he was spotted returning to the White House. Not a set.
Yeah, and he also put out a tweet when he's coming up the stairs. He said, "It's good to be back at the White House."
Yes.
The last time.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't say that last part.
He thought it was a white padded room.
It's good to be back on set.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Huh? Kubrick? What? NASA. I need to stop talking. So that's the timeline that brings us to Kamala Harris, which right now they're talking about on CNN. And I expect him to talk about this quite a bit. Yep.
So really quickly, I want to go back to one of the things that he said as recently as last week. They made me the nominee. Right. That held water. His defense of, hey guys, I can't pull out. And don't think that it's that they think he can't serve in office for 4 years.
Go back to that phrase.
Yeah. They made me the nominee. The 14.
No, the one after
million.
that.
I can't pull out of the race. I'm going to have to add on the race there to make sure.
That's what he says when denying his granddaughter.
Oh, that's right. No, it's Hunter can't pull out. It's a different. It's a family.
They're
curse,
garbage,
apparently.
is my point.
Yes,
they're the pits.
But KJP came out today and said it's not because President Biden couldn't serve another 4 years. He could. Listen to the speech tonight, and he'll tell you why. So let's just assume that that's the case. It's like, oh, he's fit as a fiddle. He can serve another 4 years. Those people voted for you. You closed off the primary. Kamala Harris knew that you were not going to be able to be the guy, and she's known that for years. She lied to the American people. Donald Trump put out a tweet about that. I think we even have that if we can go to it. Basically saying you have lied to the American people, and then what must they have done to you on Sunday to change that? That is the question that I have, because you're making the arguments, former Vice President, Biden, that we're making. They made you the nominee. You said that to make sure they couldn't take you out of the race. They voted for me. I'm going to be in this. It's the most important. I can serve 4 years. Fantastic. What changed on Sunday? Is this democracy where you close off the primary knowing that there are problems with your health, the cognitive decline that has been on display for 3.5 years?
I'll place another bet. Kamala Harris had people hook jumper cables up to his balls. This guy was threatened.
He's a nipple guy. He's not a ball guy.
Yeah,
he won't feel that.
This guy was
They're all the way at his knees. So.
They were Shutter Islanding him back into water and electrocuting him for a good couple of days to finally get him to drop out.
Eat your peanut butter, Mr. President.
Yes, exactly.
Lick it off my whatever.
This is, well, come on, let's not bring Major into this, who's not an entirely innocent dog.
He's a biter.
He's attacked like 5 black kids. So
that's more than Joe.
It is. And by the way, we have Donald J. Harris, Kamala Harris's father. That's his actual name. You can fact check it on later in the show. This brings us to Kamala Harris. When you think tonight the lies, you cannot separate the lies that he is fit, that he is the most popular president ever, he is going to serve 4 more years, the fact that he's going to clean up at the debates, that his economy, you cannot separate the lies of Joe Biden and his policies from Kamala Harris. Now, you can actually add a little bit to that because she was the border czar. The VP job is largely sort of symbolic. You don't do a whole lot. And she managed to screw that up too. Because even there, she somehow made it worse. I think that she's going to be pulling the Biden strategy with this election. She wants to pull back. She doesn't want to be out there in public. The more she's seen in public, the more people don't like her. Let the media carry her water because they absolutely will. I think you guys need to admonish me. I answered this on Mug Club yesterday, that Donald Trump shouldn't debate Kamala Harris. You can hit the admonish button. I was wrong. Well, but Josh was right. And let me explain why. He certainly is not required to because this is dirty pool. But she's not going to be out in front of the media. They're going to be for sure covering for her. And I'm not just talking about her sleeping with mayors and Montel Williams and everyone. I'm talking about her record as a prosecutor. I'm talking about her record with the bail fund and encouraging Black Lives Matter and law, all of these things. We're going to get to all of them. They're going to cover that up, and they're not going to allow Donald Trump to speak. He needs to get Kamala Harris in front of the public because the more that happens, the less popular she will be. And those debates may be an opportunity. It's a catch-22 because he cannot do better than he did against Biden. It's not possible to have a better performance than he did against Biden.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is some value there in getting, I think people are forgetting how deeply unlikable Kamala Harris is.
You got to get him on the same stage. And you got to give him the national stage. The media won't give him a national stage. Right. Outside of a couple clips here and there where they take things out of context or they want to say bloodbath or whatever the hell, but he's got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think Fox actually has offered to host the debate now. So I think if he goes away from the fine, I'll debate him anywhere under any circumstances, no audience, mute the mics and all that, you give him the questions in advance, whatever. He needs to go to a true debate style. Take the gloves off, go on the offensive against Kamala Harris's record, and do not let up.
Right.
Yeah, he's got to set the standard now too. By the way, you can't wait until they go, "Well, we'll debate under these circumstances." He's got to go right away. He's gonna be like,
he
"All
came
right,
out and said,
hey, I did what you guys wanted.
I'll debate you on Fox News under these."
Oh, he
terms.
did. Oh, okay.
Do it.
Good.
So I think he's taking our advice.
I think he's eager. No, he's not. He saw you in a shirt with a mustard stain and pointed at it.
He said, "I like the guy."
He said,
Gerald's been sending him letters.
Take his advice. Hey guys, you tune in and listen to what these guys at Steven Crowder, that Ladder with Crowder thing, you know?
Yeah, he didn't. He said, "Who puts mustard on a cheeseburger?"
Me.
Well, Gerald's been sending him letters and asking me to forge the signature onto your name. So it's
you are an artist, my friend.
He is. Yeah,
right. Let's get to Kamala Harris here too. This is important because crime is a huge issue for Americans. If you look at the top issues right now, you look at the economy, crime, immigration. Oh my God, could you copy-paste a better list to mess Kamala Harris up? I don't think so. Don't get complacent, but it's a winning campaign if Donald Trump does it correctly. You may not remember this, but Kamala Harris is the person, when we had the Summer of Love, billions of dollars in damages, hundreds of officer casualties, people shot in the head point blank simply for supporting Donald Trump, Americans pleading with their local officials to stop the violence. Kamala Harris took it upon herself to go on Stephen Colbert's show and encourage them to continue. This needs to be brought up as often as possible.
I want to make clear that I know that there are protests still happening in major cities across the United States. I'm just not seeing the reporting on it that I had
that's right.
for the first few weeks.
That's right. But they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And they're not. This is a movement. I'm telling you, they're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not, and we should not. They're not going to stop. Everyone beware, because they're not going to stop.
I'm tired of my black men and my black women being shot.
Black Lives Matter has been the most significant agent for change.
Everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up.
This movement will not be deterred.
They're not going to stop.
These were the scenes on the streets of Portland.
And they should not. And we should not.
Don't forget that. And by the way, you can share that on social. They should not. We should not. Look at the riots. Look at the burning. Look at the looting. Think of David Dorn. Think of the people who were killed. We got a Trump supporter over here in your home state. Bang, bang, point blank. Think of Chaz. Think of Chop. Think of Kamala Harris, because she said, that's we. In case you needed a little bit more proof, Kamala Harris actually promoted the bail fund for Black Lives Matter rioters in Minnesota. She actually put this out there on X, back then Twitter. If you're able to, chip in now to the MN Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the ground in Minnesota. The fallout is one of those men who was bailed out, committed murder 3 weeks later.
What?
Hey, who could have seen that coming?
Holy crap.
Crime is a big issue for Americans. There is nobody worse than Kamala Harris. I think that conservatives, Republicans would be ill-served to try and focus on the fact that she jailed nonviolent marijuana offenders to use them as slave labor. Yep, it's bad. The media is going to say that's a long time ago, and they're going to try and point to Donald Trump as a felon. Focus on the lawlessness that she identified with herself. She said, we, us, we will not stop. Then you're guilty of murder, if that's the truth, Kamala. But the good thing here, your saving grace, is that you never tell the truth, so it remains to be seen. What's funny about this, though, too, is because appeasing crocodiles is futile. Not saying that black people are crocodiles because it's a Black Lives Matter statement. It's not a negative racial stereotype. No one's like,
it sounded like it was, because
you call me a crocodile? That's not the first time. I got a thing about that.
It's definitely the first time.
Yeah. I mean, I wear Crocs, but
I don't know if black guys wear Crocs.
I don't know. I think it's universal, actually.
It's all right if you keep the tag on it. So, a new Black Lives
It's a shiny sticker on it.
A new Black Lives Matter statement on Kamala because it's a terrorist group.
Must be positive.
They say, now Democratic Party elites and billionaire donors are attempting to manipulate black voters by anointing Kamala Harris and an unknown vice president as the new Democratic ticket without a primary vote by the public. This blatant disregard for the democratic principles is unacceptable.
It's your worst nightmare.
It's your worst nightmare. This woman raised This woman raised money for Black Lives Matter murderers and identified with them, and they're still turning on her. And now if you go to Reddit and watch all of those pansexual far-left elitists, they say, oh, Black Lives Matter jumped the shark like 2 months ago. They've always been a terrorist organization. Of course they were going to turn on her. But you know what? Let's break off a pool cue and let them and this broad have tryouts. Let's go on to her record. So we now have gone through crime. Okay, border czar. That's an actual thing. What's funny is Reuters tried to say she was never the border czar, which doesn't make any sense because Reuters even covered that she clearly is.
Yeah,
They're going to lie to you. The lies are because they just need some plausibility to cheat in this election. I want to be really clear, and that's why we are doing the election live stream of the century. Go to louderwithcrowder.com/mugclub. We need your support. We are going to be with you for probably at least 12 hours, I would imagine,
a few days at
with
least.
boots on the ground, the ability to call states and investigate anything going on. The cheating is, if they can get away with it, if they can kind of put it within the realm of plausibility, trust me, it's going to get really bad.
By the way, everybody has to drink really quickly just because it's a party.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's
Nobody
different
said anything wrong.
We forgot that you guys left my rule off.
For a drink for like 45 minutes, and you should,
I'm sorry.
I wrote a rule and you guys left it off. It was drink whenever you're thirsty.
Yeah, Biden, of course, said, "Where am I?" on the way to the speech. We know that. So
I've never seen a more pale forearm than the inside of Josh's forearm. I think the lights on his look at that.
That's true.
Oh,
Look at that.
Kind of a spot.
Oh, that's an orange tattoo. You can't even see it.
It's like Swayze doing pottery.
That's like
look at
me with the rumble
when I flex though, it gets a little darker.
It does. Yeah,
No muscle. You just no muscle.
No. You got the muscle. It's
These forearms.
It comes back.
I know the stranger.
All right, hold on, really quickly.
I know the stranger with no sleeves.
It's not your. Yeah, I guess it's the left. I got turned around. His left. Your right. Okay.
Whatever.
Kamala, border czar. Let's be really clear. They're going to try and distance her from this right now. Former Vice President Joe Biden put her in charge of the border. Don't forget it.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
Sorry.
Brag.
Right clip.
Sorry, right clip.
Yeah.
Oh, we have another one.
We do.
Wrong montage.
Okay.
Here it is.
I've asked her, the VP today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle and the countries that help. We're going to need help in stemming the movement of so many folks stemming the migration to our southern border.
Kind of sounds like she was put in charge of the border. I don't know if you want to call that a czar or not. Leader, head honcho, number one. I don't know.
Well, maybe the left are saying, well, they had masks on. We couldn't see or hear.
Right.
But it looks like he was putting it in writing, doesn't it?
Yes, that's
what they're at that table
That's
for.
kind of what it seems, almost as though it's official. Well, this brings us to now. So now, Axios, for example, they just had a statement, or they put out a statement saying that Kamala was never the border czar. Okay?
Every Democrat on social is saying that, too. It's like, she was never the border czar.
Right.
I hate the policy.
And we use Axios because they're official, right? They're determined to be authoritative by YouTube, by big tech, who have no vested interest in this election.
Right.
This brings us back to then. Here's a direct quote from Axios. The number of unaccompanied minors crossing the border has reached crisis levels. Harris, appointed by Biden as border czar. I want to read that again one more time for you.
Try it again.
Harris, appointed by Biden as border czar, that seems pretty cut and dry, said she would be looking at the root causes that drive migrations. Now, let's be really clear. The border encounters at the southern border since Kamala Harris has been appointed as border czar. Axios, your words, not ours. 8.3 million encounters at the border, well over 10 million under the former Vice President Biden administration at large. So he is responsible, obviously, because he undid over 80 executive orders, or he enacted 80 executive orders undoing Donald Trump's policies on the border that have led to this. He is responsible. She is double super extra responsible because she was the border czar. Also, as the vice president, she technically sits in a role where she actually is involved with legislation as opposed to the executive. I don't know, the tiebreaker. Do you guys know about this? Yeah. Do you know about this? What a bitch.
She's like an assistant principal at the pep rally.
Yes.
School auditorium, just sitting there.
And something else. I don't know how we can trust this broad, not because she slept with so many guys, but
not that many, like 40 or 50.
Because does anyone believe that she wasn't lying? That she wasn't lying when she told us all that Biden was fit and he was seeing no cognitive decline?
Listen, the president has been very clear that he intends to run again. And if he does, I will be running with him. Proudly.
Why do you say problem?
I said proudly.
Oh, proudly.
I see Joe Biden when the cameras are on and when the cameras are off. In the Oval Office, negotiating bipartisan deals. So the way that the president's demeanor in that report was characterized could not be more wrong on the facts and clearly politically motivated.
All right.
Politically motivated?
So
clearly.
Her father is Donald J. Harris.
You can't make this.
Her mom is Shamala, which sounds like a name that a kid is making up when they're signing an attendance
sheet. Do you know her last name too? It's like Gobala. So her name is like Shayamala Gobala.
Who signed this?
It sounds made up. It's
Julia.
Hi, my name is Shayamala Gobala.
Is that a real name? Yeah, it's Shamala Gobala.
It's Indian.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to
West or
give
East?
you an after-school detention because even if it is your mom, she's named like an asshole. So her dad, Donald J. Harris, that's true, is also a Marxist economist. Let's be really clear about Kamala here. She is directly tied to Biden. Everything in the economy, all those talking points, all those attacks still apply. She is the border czar. She is the lawlessness candidate. She said, we are Black Lives Matter. We should not stop, nor will we stop. This movement cannot be stopped. And she can't be trusted because she lied about his health for a very long period of time. She was carrying the water. This is a bad candidate. And the more she appears in front of the American public, the more unpopular she will be. This is why, and this brings me to expect this to happen. And we are going to be contrasting weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern. We do this every day, by the way. If you're a Mug Club member, you get the show on Friday. We will be doing a show this Friday here on YouTube and Rumble.
Mug Club instead of a show tomorrow.
Oh, by the way, I forgot. If you're watching on YouTube and at some point you see... at some point you see this, head on over to Rumble because we don't know if we'll be censored. So this is what the media is going to do. They are simply going to... There's going to be reality. And then there's going to be the media coverage. Let me give you the first example that we've seen. Yesterday, Kamala Harris, she held a rally in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She delivered her stump speech. Here's a quick clip.
I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
Okay.
Really?
No, by the way, she meant that's half of her black side. She meant he toy.
She didn't mention all the other types of people she prosecuted also.
Yes. No, she did not.
Even innocent people.
Yeah, innocent people, journalists, people of color. That's not what I like to say. I like to say black.
It's a calling.
Yeah.
So the media went out along with that BS poll, which we'll get to after the speech because we're running short on time here. New York Times, Harris rallies exuberant Wisconsin crowd. This is the media saying, when we fight, we win. NBC, Harris holds campaign rally in Milwaukee as Trump team pivots. AP, Harris tells roaring Wisconsin crowd November election is a choice between freedom and chaos. And every single talking head was talking about how she could draw a crowd. Here's the reality. Kamala Harris couldn't fill a high school gym.
You know what they called it on Twitter? She's like, she's backed out in an arena. I'm like, that's got like 18 rows.
Yeah.
At best.
I mean, technically, it's
hey, what's
going on? What do we do?
Yeah, who performs at that arena?
Oh, is your next door here from yesterday?
Yeah, my neck's fine.
No.
No, yesterday.
I'm fine.
No, there was a thing yesterday.
I'm fine.
He had a little bit of a stud, I think.
You know, I think I have footage of it.
Yeah, play that.
Don't.
Mr.
Is rolling.
We're doing that again.
This week, I was subject to my first auto accident.
It's got to feel better, right?
How's that?
It does feel better.
Yeah.
My pride is hurt, but
need a little more.
Yeah, no, the CB distillery it does help. That's enough. That's enough. Now it's just a hobby.
Not bad.
So cbdistillery.com, and actually it did say, Nick DiPaolo said, you crumpled like a third world dictator being assassinated. cbdistillery.com.
You did crumple like a headshot.
Yeah. Better than you falling.
Use the promo code Crowder. You get 20% off. There's no fillers. There's no gimmicks. Their stuff actually works. You can get third-party lab tests. It genuinely is something that we've used. We reached out to them to become a sponsor because we use their products. But before we go to the speech, really quickly, just show that clip again because I want you to know something. When that was happening, my best friend, Johnny Boy, since I was 12 years old, he was in the room, and so was Josh. And as I was falling back, I had a perfect view of Josh, empathy like a human, getting up to see if I'm okay. And Johnny Boy was laughing for a good minute. Show what happened. He's still laughing.
I felt bad. I was like, I should be laughing more.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. He's laughing at me like a sociopath.
My son was like, show me Uncle Steven falling over again. He loved it too.
And by the way, if you see Josh too, I didn't realize you did this. You're looking at the rest of the office and you're going like this, like it's going to save me embarrassment.
Well, I should have been like, nobody look.
Steven just fell out
Steven's
of the chair.
fine. He fell.
Dead.
And I'm getting so old that it's not even my neck hurts, it's my lower back. I'm in my 30s. How did I hurt my lower back?
Well,
that's when it starts.
I'm an
you got
idiot.
a rod in your chest. And,
there's no recovery from that.
No.
But CB, hey,
the new
CB,
shoes with the high soles or the high fronts.
Yes.
High soles?
No, he's got these new shoes that the toe is higher than the heels.
Yeah, the forefoot is higher than the heel.
Like
Don't act like you know that this is a thing, the high sole thing.
I know about this.
They're my shoes, dumbass.
I know about this thing. That's what they give autistic kids as they walk on their toes.
Yeah, well,
that's a real thing.
Now I understand. It was my mom who got me the shoes. She told me it would make. She told me my happy place would now be with me.
She said they was my magic shoes. Mama said I'll fall anywhere.
It's your worst nightmare. The front of your shoe is slightly higher than the heel.
Oh, it's not. And I was falling.
Dig your heels in.
That was
they
as
are.
funny as anything they did.
It's all right. So look, break up the drinking game rules again as we go to former Vice President Biden. Admonish me. I should not.
Oh boy.
I almost lied to you and
on this
said,
of all holy days.
The drinking game rules anytime.
Get you right in the crotch, Josh.
All right, here he is. Let's go.
I'm speaking to you tonight from behind the resolute desk in the Oval Office.
That's a set.
In this sacred space, I'm surrounded by portraits
and
of
lights.
Extraordinary American presidents. Thomas Jefferson wrote the immortal words that guide this nation. George Washington, who showed us presidents are not kings. Abraham Lincoln, who implored us to reject malice. Franklin Roosevelt, who inspired us to reject fear.
And walking.
I revere this office, but I love my country more. It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president. But in the defense of democracy, which is at stake, I think it's more important than any title.
I'm out.
I draw strength and I find joy in working for the American people. But this sacred task of perfecting our union is not about me. It's about you, your families, your futures. It's about we, the people. We can never forget that.
So here's someone you didn't vote for.
I've made it clear that I believe America is at an inflection point. One of those rare moments in history when the decisions we make now will determine our fate of our nation and the world for decades to come. America's going to have to choose between moving forward or backward, between hope and hate, between unity and division. We have to decide, do we still believe in honesty, decency, respect, freedom, justice, and democracy?
Drink.
In this moment, we can see those we disagree with not as enemies, but as fellow Americans. Can we do that? Does character in public life still matter?
We'll get to that,
I believe
Joe.
I know the answer to these questions because I know you, the American people. And I know this. We are a great nation because we are good people. When you elected me to this office, I promised to always level with you, to tell you the truth. And the truth, the sacred cause of this country, is larger than any one of us. And those of us who cherish that cause, cherish it so much. A cause
Is that a dementia moment?
Itself
Drink.
must unite to protect it. You know, in recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy.
Drink.
That includes personal ambition.
I'm out.
So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation. You know, there is a time and a place for long years of experience in public life. There's also a time and a place for new voices, fresh voices, yes, younger voices.
Just made
And that time and place is now.
When I'm done.
For the next 6 months, I'll be focused on doing my job as president.
That's ambitious.
That means I'll continue to lower costs for hardworking families, grow our economy.
Drink. Lied about the
keep
economy.
defending our personal freedoms and our civil rights, from the right to vote to the right to choose. I'll keep calling out hate and extremism. Make it clear there is no place in America for political violence or any violence ever, period.
Ever?
I'm going to keep speaking out to protect our kids from gun violence.
What happened?
Our planet from climate crisis is the existential threat. And I will keep fighting for my cancer moonshot, so we can end cancer as we know it, because we can do it. I'm going to call for Supreme Court reform, because this is critical to our democracy.
Drink.
Supreme Court reform.
I'm out.
You know, I will keep working to ensure America remains strong, secure, and the leader of the free world. I'm the first president in this century to report to the American people that the United States is not at war anywhere in the world. We'll keep rallying a coalition of proud nations to stop Putin from taking over Ukraine and doing more damage. We'll keep NATO stronger, and I'll make it more powerful and more united than any time in all of our history.
Fact check Donald Trump NATO
I'll keep
spending.
doing the same for our allies in the Pacific. You know, when I came to office, the conventional wisdom was that China would inevitably surpass the United States. That's not the case anymore. And I'm going to keep working to end the war in Gaza, bring home all the hostages, and bring peace and security to the Middle East and end this war.
Check Donald Trump China policy.
We're also working around the clock to bring home Americans being unjustly detained all around the world. You know, we've come so far since my inauguration. On that day, I told you, as I stood in that winter, we stood in a winter of peril and a winter of possibilities. Peril and possibilities.
Winter,
we were in the grip of the worst pandemic in a century. The worst economic crisis since the Great Depression.
What was that?
The worst
Lied about
attack
economy,
on
drink.
our democracy since the Civil War. But we came together as Americans.
He's at democracy, drink.
We got through it. We emerged stronger, more prosperous, and more secure. Today we have the strongest
Lied about economy and border drink.
creating nearly 16 million new jobs.
Give me a beer bong.
Wages are up. Inflation continues to come down.
Lied about economy, drink.
The
Wages are down over
racial wealth gap is the
$4,000.
lowest it's been in 20 years. We're literally rebuilding our entire nation, urban, suburban, rural, and tribal communities. Manufacturing has come back to America.
Manufacturing's left America at record rates, drink.
Science and
Wouldn't another beer.
We finally beat Big Pharma after all these years.
Make us kick back over to Big Pharma with the vaccine mandates, drink.
And I'm going to keep fighting to make sure we lower the cost for everyone, not just seniors. More people have health care today in America than ever before. And I signed one of the most significant laws helping millions of veterans and their families who are exposed to toxic materials. You know, the most significant climate law ever in the history of the world. The first major gun safety law in 30 years.
I'll give you those.
Today, The violent crime rate is at a 50-year low. We're also securing our border. Border crossings are lower today than when the previous administration left office.
I thought you were going to say yesterday.
I kept my commitment to appoint the first black woman to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. I also kept my commitment to have an administration that looks like America and be a president for all Americans. That's what I've done. I ran for president 4 years ago because I believed and still do that the soul of America was at stake.
Why'd you run in 1988?
The very nature of who we are was at stake. And that's still the case.
He pulled out.
America's an idea. An idea stronger than any army, bigger than any ocean, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant. It's the most powerful idea in the history of the world. That idea is that we hold these truths to be self-evident. We're all created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
You got it right this time.
Speech.
We've never fully lived up to it, to this sacred idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I do not believe the American people will walk away from it now. In just a few months, the American people will choose the course of America's future. I made my choice. I've made my views known. I would like to thank our great Vice President Kamala Harris.
Kamala drink?
She's experienced, she's tough, she's capable.
Which way?
She's been an incredible partner to me and a leader for our country.
And many guys.
Now the choice is up to you, the American people. When you make that choice, remember the words of Benjamin Franklin's hanging on my wall here in the Oval Office. Alongside the busts of Dr. King and Rosa Parks and Cesar Chavez. When Ben Franklin was asked, as he emerged from the convention going on, whether the founders have given America a monarchy or republic, Franklin's response was, a republic, if you can keep it. A republic,
like your
if
bowels.
You can keep it. Whether we keep our republic is now in your hands.
Spread the democracy, drink.
It's been the privilege of my life.
I'll catch
serve this nation for over 50 years. Nowhere else on earth could a kid with a stutter,
you didn't have a stutter, lie, drink.
Scranton, Pennsylvania, Claremont, Delaware, one day sit behind the resolute desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. But here I am. That's what's so special
10
about
minutes.
America. We're a nation of promise and possibilities, of dreamers and doers, of ordinary Americans doing extraordinary
Kamala's a doer.
things.
Do her?
I've given my heart and my soul to our nation, like so many others. I've been blessed a million times in return with the love and support of the American people.
And grandchildren you
I
deny.
hope you have some idea how grateful I am to all of you. The great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule, the people do. History is in your hands.
Because you have a president.
Power is in your hands. The idea of America lies in your hands. We just have to keep faith, keep the faith, and remember who we are.
Billy
We're
Joel
the
wrote a
United
speech.
States of America. And there's simply nothing beyond our capacity.
Keeping the faith.
And we do it together. So let's act together. Preserve our democracy. God bless you all. And may God protect our troops. Thank you.
Ooh, boy. Okay, so look.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, we're going to have, just so you know, we're going to have a live fact check. I know I sent that out to Mission Control. Please, I know everyone is going to be a buzz right now on social media. Tune in right here. Bring your family in.
Yes.
Everything that we are going to fact check his border claims. We're going to fact check his economy claims.
NATO claims.
We are going to fact check, his what?
NATO.
His NATO claims. Yes, say your thing, and then I want to see if anyone is crying on CNN.
Did he really just say that we don't have anybody, we're not fighting any wars, and then end his speech with protect our troops? From what? I mean, I agree with the sentiment. Yeah, sure. God bless our troops. But
I have a lot of them.
Again, that's
sniffles too.
It's a comic thing, like a cheap pop.
Yes.
Give it up, your host. Give it up for the troops.
Try the fish.
I want to see what these guys. Well, what
let's see what CNN says, and then we actually have a nice tribute to Joe Biden.
That this kid from Scranton and Claymont,
a kid with a stutter.
Yes.
Full crap. Fact check. Didn't have a stutter. You can see it because you can see his entire career. He's been suckling at the public teats since he was, I believe, 14 years old. He never had a stutter.
He had a teat in his mouth, no stutter.
Yep.
In his head,
clear as a bell.
all these odds, but he's leaving. Forget the 3.5 weeks. He's done an unnatural thing, very rare in the annals of history. He stepped away from power, and he did it in the interest of the country.
He didn't step away from power either.
No, he did not.
He conceded an election. He still got the power.
Guys, he got nominated by his party within a few weeks of actually being nominated and left because of bad polling.
Yes.
Which is why his dad left his mom.
Watch. They're all going to be praising him, and we are going to have our tribute for former Vice President Joe Biden. What a piece of shit. We, of course, we're playing, and now you can just drink at will. We're all drunk here because, boy, did we predict that speech.
I'll get there.
And I'm not even Dick Morris. I didn't even require a masseuse with nice feet. Let's see what she has to say.
To the country, who do we want to be? And where do we want to go? And the other thing that struck me while I was listening to it, as somebody who's worked for him for a long time, worked with him in 2019, 2020, how much of the thematic was the same as I heard from him in 2019 when he was running for president, when he wanted to take on Donald Trump because he believed Trump posed a threat to democracy and that Trump was tearing us apart as a country in a fundamental way and was a threat to unity.
It wasn't.
And so in this moment that, by all measure,
watch, Van Jones is going to talk about what a big heart Joe Biden has. I am going to disabuse you of that notion shortly. And I will say I'm very proud of the team, what they put together here. I believe it's the definitive segment on Biden being a piece of human excrement. He's not a good guy. I will show you his entire record while we get ready to fact check every bullshit claim that was just made. There is no love lost. He's a bad person. Let's hear what Van Jones has to say.
Been working toward their entire
life. That's not Van Jones, by the way.
Say the best thing is for me to step aside.
No, she cries less.
Even knowing how hard that was for him, I think hearing those important
hasn't gotten hard in 2 decades.
I think he was shining a light for the country moving forward over the next 3.5 months through a really perilous election.
He said America's at an inflection point. He asked the questions, do we still believe in honesty, decency, respect, as character in public life?
There's no one more dishonest
and he said, I hope
in public servants' roles than Joe Biden, except for maybe Kamala Harris, but let's see.
Well, it does tonight. It does tonight. The kid with the stutter did good.
He is crying. That counts. Finish your drink. Everyone hit the ding. Finish your drink.
Jones, you pussy.
Screw you, Van Jones.
I just got this beer. That's all right.
Fight to the bitter end. You fell on this sword.
No.
He's an old guy. But the heart's still there.
What did I tell you? He's going to talk about his heart. He's going to talk about his heart that's about to lead its.
But the love is
about to hit its last beat.
Hold on, time out.
Finish your damn drink first because bring up the drinking game rules again because as long as we watch CNN, this drinking game rule is still on. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
That was a lot of wine.
None of this is true.
Ooh, I just pounded that thing and I'm going to use the restroom.
And you've got somebody who's sitting in that same chair showing that character does matter.
Whoa. Character. He lied for years about his ability to do the job, Van Jones. How is that character? He lied to the American people, shut people out of a primary, and then bowed out of the race because he had his arm twisted by the bosses in the Democratic Party. That's not character, that's cowardice.
No, that's character. It's just not great character.
That's true. It's bad character.
Well, bad character. Character's character, regardless.
It's on the character scale.
He's like Tuco in Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
It's just.
It is a character.
We need refills in the studio.
To become president.
For winter.
As many politicians dream of that their entire lives.
Winter, I had a winter apparel on.
North Face, big fan.
It sounds like, for people on the outside, well, of course he would make the decision to step aside. To Van's point,
I think if you go to the bathroom after, what a piece of shit.
Okay, I'll wait.
No.
We'll get another beer, though.
I think
Stop
this
this up.
This is historic for that.
I was going to ask, did you want to cherry me later?
It does Sorry,
what?
Appropriate point.
That was such a funny mishap.
No one is bigger than this country.
Well, there was, to be fair, he does know a 7-year-old named Cherry.
Can I say a couple things I liked?
Yes.
I liked
Be careful, because
I liked how his writers started the speech talking about the past presidents. I thought that was sweet.
Yeah.
I also liked when he said, it's time to pass it on to a younger generation.
Yeah.
I love that thought. I also love the irony of him saying that as he's dying and been taking an office since he was a young man.
Thank you, because you're making me. I want to start throwing things right now.
His heart, just so you know, when he talks about his heart is about to go boom. I don't give a fuck. That's what his heart is about to do.
You was president yesterday.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. Let's keep watching CNN, because I will have to give Mission Control some time to fact check. We do have a tribute.
A lot already.
So, I know, but we do have a tribute to former Vice President Biden. Let's hear Van Jones cry.
I think that's pretty much the whole thing going forward this next 6 months.
Bring me the bottle, guys.
Some of the stuff he talked about he wants to do, I don't necessarily think he's going to be able to get done. He wants to perform the Supreme Court.
You know he's not going to be able to get it done, Van Jones.
The direction
has had 3.5 years.
He's trying to take us on, I think, is good.
And he challenged the American people. I mean, he really, he said he endorses Vice President Harris. He made clear that he believes that she.
I told you before the show, I predict he's going to resign tonight.
I know. But you still did win the bet with
I did.
Gerald. How long was his speech? Can Mission Control get us the actual?
11 minutes.
I don't want to talk about it.
You owe $100 to someone in Mug Club. By the way, louderwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. The election live stream of the century, the Rumble on Rumble, November 5th. We will be here with you until that election is called. Here, let me give you this, just so.
Josh, I'm really sorry your paycheck's $100 less than it should be.
And of course, you get 100% more of this show. Nick DiPaolo, you get a Friday show. You get the Mug Club Undercover Crew. None of it happens without you. Just to shoot, we've invested millions of dollars into election night that no one else will be investing, because we want to make sure that there are no more tricks. The media is already doing it. They're trying to piss on your head and tell you it's raining. Let's see John King. He's shaped like a pear.
None. But we know there's been a lot of anger behind the scenes in recent days. He said he was stepping aside, quote, to unify my party. He didn't say he was stepping aside because his doctors say he's not up to the job. He didn't say he was stepping aside because he had decided it was time. He said he was stepping aside
because
to unify
he saw
my
bad polling.
That is the president.
Unify my party, and agreeing with every single one of them that has said I should step down.
I'm sorry. These guys.
By the way, that's a good pickup line at a bar. Hey, you look like you could unify my party.
Hey, you want to unify this party?
But you don't need that pickup line with Kamala. You just say you look like she goes, yeah.
All the talk about candor in politics, I found that to be the most honest words in the speech.
The most honest thing in the speech? Listen, I'm sorry, this is not honesty. This is political expediency and trying to keep your party in power and seeing bad polling. That's not honesty. He doesn't have a bone in his body that says I'm putting country before Joe Biden. He would have not run 4 years ago if that was the case.
Well, on that note, we do have this segment prepared because I knew, like we told you, the media would be doing this. You can use the hashtag Biden failed us. I don't know what the hashtag is right now that's trending on social media. We told you they were going to be trying to venerate him. They were going to try and deify him. These people stabbed him in the back, by the way. Remember, we showed you right after the debate saying that was not good. He needs to go away. Now they're saying, what a great guy.
Oh, look at you, Joe.
I've also heard some conservatives. This is how you know they're a rhino. If someone says, Joe Biden's a worthy adversary because he's wrong, but he's a good guy. I believe his heart is in the right place. His heart is not in the right place. He is a liar. He has always been a liar. He has made his career suckling at the public teat and justifying it through lies. I will argue this point. I don't know that there has ever been a president or former vice president of the United States who has so consistently lied with complete disregard for accountability or even being caught. You have people who BS, they fluff up the record a little bit. Joe Biden makes up stories that never happened with people he's never met in places that don't even exist. He's not a good guy. He's obviously failed this nation, but he's failed his family, he's failed his community, and he has failed every American ideal that you are required to live up to if you want to feed your family or put a roof over your head. So while they venerate this man and talk about what, gee golly, what a good guy he is, we have our own tribute prepared. Joe Biden, what a piece of shit. All right, and you can comment below. Pause it, don't cheat, what you think will be included here. I guarantee you there will be some surprises. All references available at louderwithcrowder.com. Let's start with former Vice President Biden. Really starting his career, his entire career is based on lies. He's always lied. He's lied about his background. He's lied about who he is. He's lied about his resume. He's lied about his schooling. He's lied about, well, he actually even plagiarized people when he was running for president in 1988, had to drop out due to lies. He has lied about pretty much everything you can lie about as a former vice president of the United States. I can't find an instance where he hasn't lied, let alone his record as presidency. But let's walk you down this path, memory lane here. Let's start with this, his background, former Vice President Biden's background. Well, first off, and let me just be clear about the rules.
Yes.
I just want to be very clear here.
Let's make sure we're
because
all clear.
I'm not going to have time to fact check all of this. This will be a 9-hour stream. When I tell you anything right now to set up these clips, it means that the truth is the opposite of that.
Okay.
You can go and fact check it yourself. I know we always, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Like when he says he was from coal miners, that's not true. He's not. There were no coal miners.
No.
When he says he's like Greek or Persian, he's not Greek or Persian. Does everyone understand this?
He's not Greek?
Yeah, for brevity's sake. I just don't want to spend so much time on it.
Okay, yeah.
So I will say the thing, but the truth is the opposite thing because as a rule, not a general rule, an always rule, former Vice President Biden always lies.
Well, that's fair.
Clear? Okay. Like the time he claimed that he came from coal miners.
Hell, I might be president now if it weren't for the fact I said I had an uncle who was a coal miner. Turned out I didn't have anybody in the coal mines, you know what I mean?
Really?
I tried that crap, you know?
Now, you guys all understand the rules. He didn't come from coal miners.
No, it turned out he didn't.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you understand, because there's a pattern here.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a piece of...
Yeah. Sure. Raymond's matrix is like an IQ test. Notice the pattern. Okay.
Thank you.
He also claimed, he's like Steven Seagal. He claimed that he grew up in the black community. Again, he didn't.
When I was a kid in high school, I used to go down to the black church. I go to 7:30 Mass. I'm a practicing Catholic.
Okay, so he's a practicing Catholic. He goes to Mass a lot when he's talking to black people. No idea why that works. But he also claimed that he has gone to synagogue more than most Orthodox Jews. Again, the opposite.
I probably went to shul more than many of you did.
You see the pattern?
Yes.
Okay, because it's important to remember because
pretty clear.
He also claimed he's like Puerto Rican.
I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community at home, politically.
He wasn't.
No. Puerto Rican.
He wasn't even holding a knife.
What a piece of shit. We've just gone through.
Oh, gosh.
Black.
That was a whole lot.
Jewish.
That was a lot of
Catholic. Also Puerto Rican. Now you would say, that's bad enough. I'd agree with you, but it's not the end. He's also Greek.
That's where I acquired a nickname I'm very proud of. I am Joe Bidenopoulos.
He's not Joe Bidenopoulos.
Stereotypical.
Nobody
too.
Yeah, to be clear, he's not that. He's not any of the things that he claimed. And the great irony here is, I don't know if you know this, but if you go back to kind of world history, they actually, there's different empires. The Greek Empire is very different from not only the Romans, but of course, as you go to the Ottomans or you go to the Persian Empire, because he also claimed that he's, again, he's not this. Persian.
Oh boy.
You know, the Persian culture is amazing. As a student of the Persian culture, not a practitioner, but a student.
To be fair, he wears their rugs.
Yeah, well.
But when pandering for votes, he also claimed, but actually, what I really wanted to be, not Greek, not Jewish, not black, not Persian, I wanted to be Italian and Polish.
But everyone in town was either Polish or Italian. I grew up feeling self-conscious. My name didn't end in the S-K-I or no.
That's where the nickname, his self-proclaimed nickname, Bidensky.
Yes, Bidensky.
Bidensky or
Yes.
Bidano.
But that being said, I will, in his defense, Polish jokes, Polak jokes, and by the way, we don't want to denigrate the good Polish people.
No, but no one's ever wished to be one.
No. But the Polak jokes and Biden jokes are pretty much interchangeable.
They are, yeah.
So I'll give that one to him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What a piece of shit. And we're going to get to his policies. And we're going to get to him denying his granddaughter. But this guy lies when he doesn't even need to lie. No one is putting, like, the funny thing is.
To hear that. No one needed him to, to pander to them.
Like, you can see the surprise on reporters' faces. Like, hey, Biden, what's your, it's a softball. Hey, so what's your background? It's like, Persian. He not only lied about his background, that's just to set the stage. He's completely lied about his resume, about his schooling. Also, he's intensely racist. But here's a good example where he claimed one time that he was appointed to the U.S. Naval Academy. Again, the opposite is the truth.
I was appointed by the fellow I ran against when I was 29 years old to the Naval Academy. I was one of 10. I wanted to play football.
So detailed, and none of it is even close to true.
Why would you say that at West Point? Yeah. The big rivals. Big, huge football rivals.
It's like going to Ohio State, like, I was a U of M. I was a tight end, but then I heard they made me a kicker.
You're the kicker.
You're the kicker, sucker.
You're the sucker kicker. You're the kicker.
So think of when they fact-checked Donald Trump. Here's another example. He claimed he went to Delaware State and also went on to specify it was an HBCU. Believe your eyes.
I got started out of an HBCU, Delaware State. Now, I don't want to hear anything negative about Delaware State here, okay? They're my folks.
Oh, he wanted to say something else.
Yeah, yes, he did.
He wanted to say they're my something else.
Yes, he did. He did.
Nagger.
Stop it, Gerald.
It's a skit.
We're going to get to his racism.
Nag?
It hasn't come up yet.
Which just and then Reuters even said he never claimed he went to Delaware State. Reuters actually, let's bring that. Reuters like he never claimed that. He was given some kind of it's like he said he got his start at play that again. I got my start at Delaware State at HBCU. Reuters said he never said he was from Delaware State. It's not just him lying, but the media has to work in overdrive just to compensate for his lies. Play it again.
I got started out of an HBCU, Delaware State. Now, I don't want to hear anything negative about Delaware State here, okay? They're my folks.
They're not anything. You were a piece of shit.
There it is, Reuters. Now watch the ad.
Yo, to be fair though,
here we go.
They forgot the rest.
Look at this. Look at this. Joe Biden did not say he attended Delaware State University. Thanks, Reuters.
To be fair, he did get his start at Delaware State. They forgot the rest of that clip where I got my start at Delaware State and then realized soon that, fuck that. I'm going to the University of Delaware.
Yes. Yeah. Wait, did I say Delaware State? Yeah. What did I mean?
You Del.
So here's another example. And you know what? This is actually, we're gonna go way too long tonight. Use the hashtag Biden failed us if you want to take part. And please make sure that everyone knows, because don't allow them to turn this guy into a saint. He's a bad guy. He's a bad dude, like he claims Corn Pop was, who also doesn't exist. What a piece of shit.
I love a guy who gives a fake black nickname to a black guy.
I know.
Like you didn't. These are my boys. Snap, crackle, and pop.
They snap, crackle, and pop. These boys live in a tree.
I call this black guy Lucky Charm.
They're the gang.
like he's Ty Cobb. You know about Ty Cobb?
Yes.
Kept a black kid under his bed for good luck.
He did, yeah.
Weird, but these guys are a gang. They live in a tree. They're called because they're the Keebler elves. They're tough sons of bitches.
Don't mess with them.
So here he is. Here's just a montage of him lying about jobs. Again, what he says is the exact opposite of the truth. I'm not going to insult your intelligence and spend the time fact-checking all of this. None of it is even close to the realm of being possibly true.
A lot of great people who were my fellow lifeguards. There were 13 of us. And I was driving going through Shiloh, Ohio. And his handle was Big Ten. Because that's why I started no, I'm serious. I started a civil rights movement. I've been on a lot of university campuses. As a matter of fact, for 4 years, I was a full professor at the University of Pennsylvania.
Oh, Lord.
So
his handle was Big Ten? You know where he got that?
Joyride.
No, the song Convoy.
Yes.
Convoy. There's a guy named Big Ten in that song. I'm pretty sure.
And also, one time...
I could be biting it, making it up.
One time I was in my truck with my friend, and we had a CB radio. And we heard someone come on the radio and say, candy cane.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. Hey, listen. Is that a joke? He liked pink champagne, man.
Checked into the room next door to us.
And just to be clear, lies and blatant plagiarism actually forced this man, public servant, mind you, out of the race in 1988.
Biden seemed to be claiming Kinnock's vision and life as his own.
Why is it that my wife is sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Gladys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university.
My ancestors who worked in the coal mines in
guy was running in
Pennsylvania know come
Germany.
up after
Weird.
12 hours and play football.
He was lying about coal mines back then.
And then come up and play football.
I think I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect. I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic
That's also not true.
With a stutter.
Now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Hold on a second. The worst part of that is that back in the 80s, he was bald.
What?
Yeah, he's not anymore. Isn't that fun?
He's not even honest about that. I guarantee you, if people ask, you have some hair plugs? What?
Just for
no.
Oh, and Persian rugs.
Pert Plus. No more tears, loser sucker.
No more tears. Smells good.
What a piece of shit.
It gets
That'll not ever not be funny.
It gets. And by the way, I am very hesitant to accuse somebody of racism, Gerald notwithstanding.
Wait, no, I just.
But
I've known him for a while.
If you're going to use the left's standard, now I don't think that Biden has hate. I don't think that he has hate in his heart for colored folk. But if you use the left's standard, there has been no politician in modern United States history more intensely racist than Joseph Robinette Biden.
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black. They're gonna put you all back in chains.
I'm like the token black mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook. We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife.
Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Holy shit.
Wow, did he say that out loud?
Yeah.
He did, and he said it many times.
It's not aggressive racism. It's not like, I hate these colored people and they need to go, or it's not like that, but it's like the subtle, like, I'm above you racism. It's like, it's supremacy racism.
It's like telling my old aunt, I was like, hey, you know what? They have a deal running on Uber Eats. And she said, and give my money to those Mexicans?
Yeah, that's more racist than...
And I was like, I don't know.
But
I mean, there's a chance. I don't know who the
it's not
driver.
giving it; it's an exchange.
Yeah, I don't know who the driver is.
Goods. Yeah,
but look, it's horrible. I guess so. So, here's the thing too. And if you have to use the restroom, Josh,
yeah, is that right?
Yes.
The restrooms are. You're doing a good job. Unlike Kamala.
To be clear, we had a bit, and I was like, we're gonna do the bit later, but we're gonna actually do it on Friday morning show live, 10 a.m. Eastern. We will be live on YouTube and on Rumble Friday morning because we're not doing a show tomorrow morning. And I actually believe that we will have Donald J. Harris. That's his real name. Kamala Harris's father. We have technical difficulties. He will be on Friday's show.
It's Kamala's daddy.
Kamala's daddy.
Donald J. is Kamala's daddy.
That's a real thing. Stop. People are going to think it's not true.
No, it is.
It's his real name. And we're having him on the show. I worked really hard at getting him on the show.
Well, good job.
He said he doesn't like you. He said you're a very unlikable person.
That's not true.
Okay.
At all.
I love you.
Thank you.
Not really. So,
son of a...
Let's get to some other key facts here. They're going to try and tell you that, and keep this up here, CNN. We're going to go back to them and fact check all of it. That former Vice President Biden is a nice person, despite all the. So maybe he lies. Maybe he's a compulsive liar. I knew a compulsive liar when I grew up in high school, and he like, for example, one time he told me that he had a glass-bottom boat, but I knew that his family was very poor. And he couldn't swim. He was afraid of water. So I was like, I don't even know why you're lying about this. Like, it's not even impressing me that much. Of like the top 10 things that would impress me as a 14-year-old, glass bottom boat wouldn't even make the list. The point is, he lied about everything. Joe Biden does that, but it doesn't necessarily make him a bad person. There are other things that make him a bad person. And if nothing else, can we all agree, comment below, or hit the like button if this, and this, I don't just say this is not a hollow statement. President Donald Trump, you may hate him, you may think he's a prick. He seems to have done pretty well with his kids, and his kids love him. And he has a close relationship with all of his children and his grandchildren. You may not even like his kids, but his kids love him, and his grandchildren love him. So much so that his granddaughter spoke at the RNC. He's very actively involved in their lives.
Yeah.
He hasn't denied the existence of any of them, as far as I know, at this point.
True.
Biden we'll get to that, but let's just start with this. He lied, and he said that the man who killed his wife in a car accident was drunk. That was not true. He ruined the reputation and life of someone. He's a bully. He had a platform that the man did not because he wanted to be a perpetual victim. That's something that only a piece of shit would ever do or say. The other thing is, contrast with Donald Trump, who he goes after the elite, he goes after those in power, he goes after those in three-letter agencies, he goes after the DNC, he goes after corruption. Former Vice President Biden goes after the American voter. He reviles you plebes.
I'm not going to get in an argument with you, man. Well, I don't want to. Well, yeah, you do, but look, Pat, look, here's the deal. Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans quote a clear and present danger to our democracy. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
You know, whenever I discuss issues, like we do black and white on the gray issues, I always, it's not lost on me that I'm a white dude. I put on my glasses. You say I look like Clark Kent. I get it. But can you just answer me a question? And usually they go, oh, all right, let's talk. Biden had no concern for that at all. I was like, look, I'm going to tell you black people what it's like to be black because, and I know you're saying, why? Because he's a piece of shit. That's why.
Yeah, it's that supreme racism.
That was
I want you to have all the things that we have, but I want you to know I'm better than you at the same time.
Yes, but hold your nose because here comes the cold water. I want you to, rather than remove yourself from politics like these people are celebrities, imagine if someone in your family or someone you close your eyes, in your mind's eye here, picture someone in your life doing what I'm about to tell you that verifiably Joe Biden has done. And not to be a downer, but this actually may make you really sad because he's just that shitty. Mm-hmm. Former Vice President Biden refused to acknowledge the existence of his own granddaughter.
For the first time, the president and first lady are publicly acknowledging they have a 7th grandchild, a 4-year-old girl named Navy, who their son Hunter fathered out of wedlock as he battled drug addiction. The child, up until now, not recognized by the president.
I have 6 grandchildren.
Imagine that. That granddaughter's going like, hey, she's telling people, hey, my grandfather's the former vice president of the United States. And to give you an idea, it wasn't just a one-time thing. It wasn't an oversight. In 2021, the White House Christmas display didn't even have a stocking for his granddaughter.
He made a point when they asked him, he made a point to say, I have 6 grandkids.
Yes.
Yeah.
He made a point to isolate her, to cut her. This is not an inclusive man. This is a bad person. March in 2024, he didn't even mention her when he went through the list at Women's Day, right? They had this commemoration. Didn't mention that granddaughter.
Also,
mentioned.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
We have London Roberts actually speaking out about this. We've got a video clip of her kind of talking about this.
Okay, let's watch it.
In early 2018, she became pregnant. At first, she says Hunter was supportive.
I'm pregnant, and it's just this look of nothing. just shock. And I'm like, give you time to process it. It's yours. And that's when he snaps out of it. He's like, I know it's mine.
But then she...
Yeah. He knew.
Yeah, dude. This is the worst right here.
Yeah.
This is really the worst. Bad. Like, there's other things that you go, he's a president, he's got decisions to make, yada, yada, yada. This it's
a little girl.
It transcends everything, man.
Yeah.
Every family in America, every person. I got family, addiction, my mom's family, there's a lot of people that they don't get along. There's multiple dads. There's sexual stuff that happened with one of the, it's all these different things that happen, but you'd be hard pressed to not to see them not claim.
Yeah.
Not even claim. Like, it's one thing to be an absentee grandfather or I'm a president, I don't have time, yada, yada, but to not even claim her and act like it's not yours.
Like she doesn't exist.
Like the fact that he had to go to court and be girl. I had the least respect for people who don't take care of children.
Yep.
If you 100%. Have them and you make a point to not take care of children, I had the least respect. I lose all respect for you. It's a child. They deserve their grandfather. You already know it's a child in a broken home.
Yep.
You know your son's not going to do shit about it. He might go to jail. He's been a former crack addict. Oh, but she was I don't care. Yeah. I don't care. There's a child involved.
Yep.
And you're one of the richest people in the country. You're the most powerful person in the world. Can you imagine your grandfather's the most powerful person in the world and you can't even get a birthday card? I've had broke-ass grandmas give me $20 and try to refuse it from them. They won't, because they got to do something for me.
Yep. I need that at $20 because I took the $100 out of your.
I will. Yeah. Well, I have.
But
Luckily, I have 5 grams.
There's a silver lining to this. At least she isn't going to be smelled or showered with.
Exactly. He doesn't acknowledge his own children, but, and I can't prove the criminality of this. However, just to sort of give him the benefit of the doubt, he may have been spending this time fondling, sniffing, or otherwise making other young girls intensely uncomfortable.
And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again.
I lost the sound. Oh, all right, we lost the sound here. Guys, can we then go to this event?
It's going to hurt your reputation, man.
And to the U.S. Senate as well for their trust and confidence. I've got a lot of thanks to give out here.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a beautiful name. That's my mommy's name. Well, nice to see. How old are you, 17? 6.
The worst part, it's not just that he behaves that way. It's that he has no concern that anybody is actually watching. So you have a guy,
about it.
Yeah, he lied about everything from his schooling to his ethnicity to his qualifications to, for crying out loud, his GPA, to his speeches, which he plagiarized. He lied about his records. He lied about which jobs he worked. He's been incredibly racist by the left standard while trying to ruin people's reputation, accusing Donald Trump of being a racist. He also denied the existence of his own granddaughter while at the same time acting similar to, because I have no idea if we're still on YouTube, similar to, I can't say he is, strikingly similar to an active pedophile who, if they were in your neighborhood, you'd want them to have to go around the block collecting signatures. So while they right now on CNN, including rhinos, including people who try and find a false middle ground, say, gee golly, he's a bad president, but a good guy. No. Former Vice President Biden is absolutely, in my opinion, and if you disagree, comment below, a piece of human shit.
He's a piece of shit. I wanted to say it too.
I'm sorry.
It felt like powerful. I wanted to say it.
Gerald,
just drinking out of my.
Whoa, they put
plug merch.
Oh,
go look at this. This is actually
that reminds me of my
nice
wood burning set that I still have scars from it.
What are you doing? Come back to me. This is at crowdershop.com. Look, this shirt right here. This is the shirt he pointed at. He pointed at that shirt. Fight like hell. Go right now. Enter in promo code dropout for 20% off. 20% off. Code dropout. So it's a real thing.
You could pick a better model. He's no 40 long. I'll tell you that.
He pointed at me.
Tess Holiday, the male equivalent.
He did this, which I'm not sure what this is.
Black Power.
That's not. It's raised fist for this.
It's MTV Single Moms on CNN.
It's got to be a long shot.
Teen Moms.
Okay. But crowdershop.com, 20% off dropout.
Yes. And we are going to get to the fact check. Use the right now. The hashtag is Biden failed us, boy. Look, you may think it's in poor taste, but I promise you that tonight's stream is going to age exceedingly well. Let's see what CNN is doing right now. They're going to be talking about his message of unity and
this
what
guy
a good
pushes
guy.
Back a lot.
Yeah, he does.
I really do, and I respect you, and I hear what you're saying.
But you're full of crap.
I think what you're asking Republicans to do is to overlook a lot of dishonesty.
Boom.
That came right out of this White House, that came right out of the vice president, people who work for him, his family, other Democrats in Congress. You're asking the country to overlook a lot of dishonesty about Joe Biden's abilities, capabilities, his capacity to serve for another 4 years and so on.
Are you talking about Biden or Trump?
I'm talking about...
Oh, my God. Shut up, you little sprite.
I'm talking about Joe Biden. He arrived at this...
Hold your ground. Hold your ground.
With a little push.
Don't let that
not just
little
from the
son of a bitch sashay across that table and tell you what's what.
A little bit of a push. A little bit of a push from the party
He concluded that this was the party bosses were reflecting, the consensus of the American people who made a judgment. But Scott, I mean, there's so many Republicans who I talk to who are overlooking far more than this, and they'll tell you that about Donald Trump. I mean, that is really this.
But Donald Trump never said he was putting the American people before himself and stepping out of a race after closing a primary down, after lying about his health, after saying he was the guy less than 24 hours before dropping out.
Right. Donald Trump, it's funny. This is a great irony. For someone who believes that many of our institutions, and he doesn't believe the institution, for example, the Supreme Court, he understands the separation of powers. Donald Trump actually went through the appropriate, he hasn't tried to do away with the Electoral College, he hasn't tried to do away with the Supreme Court, and he won the primary. Every time, he's actually won it, despite fighting upstream against an RNC who doesn't want him to be there. You can say whatever you want. That's not subverting democracy.
And the committee could have said the same thing that the Democrats do. They could have said the same thing they did in 2016. They could have been like, but you're not the candidate. We're going to put Mitt Romney or whoever the hell.
So we're going to put somebody else in, or Hillary.
They could have done that, and they didn't do that. So you're sitting here talking to a Republican.
Yeah. If Joe Biden had a medical emergency after an open primary, which he got through because the American people got a chance to look at him and say, you know what, even with his issues, he's still our guy.
Yeah.
Then that would be different. But they closed it down, guys. I don't think we've talked about this enough. 14.6 million people roughly voted for Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris. She's received 0 votes, 0 delegates in 2020 or now.
That's not true. You're forgetting the wet T-shirt contest.
That's 100% true. I do apologize. She was a side piece. Nobody voted for her. Everybody voted for Joe Biden. Joe Biden said he's the guy. Nothing about that changed other than the party coming together and saying, hey, the money's drying up. The polls look bad. You should probably step aside. No matter what the American people have said. That is not how democracy works. I'm sorry. It's not. We don't focus on that enough because we're like, don't worry about it. Biden, he's going to get beat. Kamala Harris is going to beat. No matter who they put up, they're going to get beat. That's true. And we should focus on the race. But this is the greatest subversion of democracy in our lifetimes, and CNN right now is cheering it on.
Yep. And by the way, even though it's technically probably legal, I don't think that Donald Trump's complaint is going to go anywhere. Also, the money that was drying up, but was it 90-something million? I don't have the exact number in front of me. It was somewhere around the 100 million mark that went to the Biden-Harris ticket, just gets transferred over to Kamala and unknown here.
Harris butt juice.
Think about that. You're talking about not 7 figures, not 8 figures. Yeah, wait, 8 figures. Yes, 8 figures. Sorry, I almost went to 9. Is it not? Are we?
100 million is 9 figures.
Yeah, 100 million. Yeah, exactly. It's not quite 100 million yet that was directly transferred, but overall now she's over 100 million. She didn't even have to go through the last time she faced a primary, she got less. She got the same amount of votes as porn stars who run for a goof in her home state of California.
Let me ask you this. When a fight, UFC or a boxing match happens and they have the purse, right? The amount of money they're putting up to win or whatever. Now, if one guy drops out of the fight and they replace the fighter, does the purse stay the same?
Well, there's a show and win money, and the show money is much lower. They renegotiate the entire contract. That's a good point.
So we have this exact scenario in another arena.
Listen, and
we see how it works fairly.
Primary, because these concerns existed prior to his debate performance. They existed prior to Morning Joe going out there and saying, this is the sharpest I've ever seen Joe Biden before in his entire life. These concerns existed. They closed out RFK because they didn't like him. They closed out anybody else, Joe Manchin, who kind of wanted to run and see if he could challenge in there. Shapiro was going to go in there. We know.
Why do you always say Shapiro? No one else says Shapiro.
It's another character. It's a name of somebody else.
Spyro the Dragon.
They all wanted to run, and they said no. This is what they did with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. They boxed him out and said, well, no, that's democracy. And then for him to pull out of the race because of bad polling, guys, that doesn't make any sense to me. I understand it.
Yeah.
But you can't do it.
Can I pause? Amy Klobuchar is on right here. Mission Control fact check. Amy Klobuchar was on some kind of election integrity commission because she signed on with Jimmy Carter. Too. Yeah, with Jimmy Carter, I believe Elizabeth Warren, I believe maybe even Hillary Clinton, where they were saying the election was stolen from the American people due to Russian collusion in 2016, which of course was proven absolutely to be verifiably false, right? As far as Donald Trump, the Steele dossier, Fusion, is it Fusion GPS, I believe?
GPS, yeah.
All of this was fake. She was there. So I want to ask you a question, and I mean this. If they were willing to say that the election was fraudulent when Donald Trump won, if Stacey Abrams still hasn't actually accepted her election loss in Georgia, they cheated there. Okay. If then they change mass mail-in voting unconstitutionally, according to the state constitution of Pennsylvania, if there are states that don't require voter ID, if they illegally suppress stories that the American people had a legitimate reason to know, like the Hunter Biden laptop story, for example, if they did that, and then in this election, follow me here, in this election they lied to you for 4 years. The lies, right now, they're a continuation of the lies from 4 years ago. They lied to you and said that this man was mentally fit when everybody knew that he wasn't. That's why he campaigned from his basement. They used COVID as an excuse. If they've lied to you about jobs, they've lied to you about crime, they've lied to you about him being fit, they've lied to you about him pulling out of this election, that he was going to be the candidate, they've lied to you continually only so that they could pull a switcheroo at the last minute and install somebody, give her $100 million, give or take, don't fact check me on that, somewhere between $90 and $100 million, so that she could be installed. Even though she didn't win her own home state, she got 2% in a primary in California as the choice of the American people, while celebrities endorse her, raise tens of millions of dollars. The media tells you that she wasn't the border czar, even though they actually listed her. They gave her the title border czar. They tell you that she has had this enthusiasm and these rallies, despite the fact that she couldn't fill a high school gymnasium. If they were willing to lie to you about all of these things just to maintain their grip on power, don't become complacent. What do you think they're willing to lie about? What tricks do you think they're willing to pull in this election? All bets are off.
Yeah.
This is the party. This is the mob, the shakedown artists who couldn't give less of a crap about our constitutional republic, about your rights, whether it's your First Amendment rights, your Second Amendment rights. They don't care about. What do you think they will pull this election? And that's why we've invested millions of dollars into November 5th, 2024. It's the election live stream of the century, the Rumble on Rumble. We need your support.
Yes.
Please, if you're tuning in anywhere, there is no reason to watch legacy media or any other program outside of this one. Set a date in your calendar. We will be with you until that election is over. We have boots on the ground in every major city, every major swing state. We have the news wires. We have real-time data analysts. No tricks. Nothing happens in darkness in this election. If they would lie to you about all of that for the last 4 years, nonstop, up until and including this very minute, what else will they lie to you about? They don't care. Don't become complacent. No more tricks. That's why we have left nothing for the swim back. We have burned the ships because we know that this is the most important election of our lifetime, November 5th, 2024. That's why we do what we do. And you've never heard me say that before. You've heard me be the skeptic. You've heard me say, everyone always says it's the most important election of your lifetime, but yeah, it's important. It's not even close. It's not even close. And that's why we're preparing to do what we've done. And I appreciate your support.
You said, what will they do? What will they do next? You know, I think after what they've done now by subverting democracy and taking away the right of the Democratic Party, the Democratic voters to choose their candidate, I think now, if people accept that, sky's the limit.
It really is.
They can do whatever they want. That party will, if they'll take this, and they'll take COVID, and they'll take the last 3.5 years, they'll take anything that the Democratic Party throws at them, and they know it. Vote blue, no matter who. They're fucking slaves. They're robots to the machine.
Yeah.
Yep.
They'll do anything.
All right, let's go.
A little fired up.
Let's go to the fact check here. I know that he talked about NATO. I know he talked about border crossings.
I'll go through it.
Okay, you have all of it. You're our ombudsman.
Right. So we've got the clip that we're going to play, and then we're going to have the fact check that follows that. So let's start off really quickly with the border crossing. So clip border crossing speech. Tim.
We're also securing our border. Border crossings are lower today than when the previous administration left office.
All right.
They are not. So, I got to scroll back up. There was literally so many fact checks here. I'm going back up to it. I'm sorry. I thought they were going to throw it in there.
Is he saying...
I know it's over 10 million.
Is he saying overall, border crossings like at actual checkpoints?
Border crossing.
Not counting the...
All right. Let's just so Gerald can be set. Play that clip one more time.
Here. So
here's the claim. Here's the claim.
We're also securing our border. Border crossings are lower today than when the previous administration left office.
Here's the truth. June 2024 crossings, 83,000. The average under Trump was 40,000. So that's
half.
That's like twice the amount.
That's a bad...
and you know what they're lying about is when he was going into this election, they sort of got a little bit strict on it for about a week. That's what they're trying to lie about. As far as the next fact check, is it? Are we going to NATO or what's the next one?
Let me see. So, by the way, the average under Biden is $200,000 a month. So even if you go average for average,
holy,
it's bad. It gets bad. It gets worse, and it gets real.
The average under Donald Trump was 40.
Better,
and then it's 200,000 is the average under Joe Biden. So that's more than 4 times more.
Some would say. I think that's exactly.
Let's get that CNN lady. She was pretty good at that stuff.
Would say.
Technically you're right, but you could have been more precise. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
So let me go to.
And
this
we'll make
here.
all these references, by the way, available. Link in the description, louderwithcreditor.com. Everything this man just said tonight was a lie because he's not a good man. He's not even a passable man.
So I'm going to go to the clip, and then they can just quickly reply with the information. Clip democracy speech.
I revere this office, but I love my country more. It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president. But in the defense of democracy, which is at stake, I think it's more important than any title.
I'm still drinking because it's the drinking game.
So here's the fact check on that. Biden got 14.564 million votes. Kamala Harris got...
I thought you were showing her nickname in high school.
No, that wasn't...
Fist hole.
That wasn't a grip, but it was...
She was also referred to sometimes as...
So how is it really possible that you can claim that you're protecting democracy when you basically just turn the keys over to somebody who's never gotten a vote? All right, let's go to violent crime. He mentioned violent crime in his speech, saying that it was down, and that is clip violent crime speech.
Today, the violent crime rate is at a 50-year low.
50-year low. That seems, you know what? Murder is not down below to pre-COVID levels. So the murder rate, you see right there, that far right, that's where murder is. Just go back a few years. Oh, that's higher than it was a few years ago.
That's pretty
Definitely
tough.
Spiked, but it's hard. Murder's kind of the big one because you don't come back from that.
It's a big one.
You know what I mean? It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, he should care about it because Kamala's been putting blow dryers in the White House bathtub.
That's true.
He's
not
been putting banana peels.
He gave up the keys. He's good.
In the West Wing.
You know that was the threat,
She's
right?
rigged anvils over every doorway.
Yeah, I know.
She's been doing that for a long time. Really,
today when he gave his speech, he had to check for falling pianos.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go to SCOTUS reform. Clip SCOTUS reform speech.
I'm going to call for Supreme Court reform because this is critical to our democracy. Supreme Court reform.
It is critical to the democracy, apparently, but his SCOTUS reform is basically a code of ethics and term limits. But here's the fact check on the fact check. If you've got the MSNBC thing, MSNBC came out and said, that ain't enough. We got to get more people. We got to add the seats, bro.
So protect our democracy by changing it.
Wait, hold on a second. It's a letter from Jill. Okay, who gives a shit? All right, let's continue with...
Yeah, so basically Joe Biden is like, I'm going to protect the court. And MSNBC is like, hey, that's not what we want. We are the Democratic Party, not you anymore because you're not running for president anymore. You don't have any power.
He says, I'm going to protect the court by doing away with traditions and norms of the court. And then MSNBC says, you're not doing enough to destroy the autonomous power of the court that's separate and apart from the executive and legislative branch. Check out our buzz-cutted lesbian chain gang of hosts.
Yeah, you should add the exact number of justices we need to have the edge.
Yes.
Just
and only that, no more, no less.
Yeah.
Or two, just depending too.
Well, each, look, I have to fact check you. Right. Each justice has a +1 or 2.
Well, listen, admonish me then.
Yeah, depending on how many
not the same
+1s.
I want a different
former vice president.
That's not, no, you have to. That was me, not severely admonish. Oh, yeah, there we go. Admonishing myself.
I love you, Gerald, but you should be ashamed of yourself.
All right, so let's go to clip wages speech.
Oh,
clip wages.
That's a good one.
Today we have the strongest economy in the world, creating nearly 16 million new jobs, a record.
Well, 16
Wages are up. Inflation continues to come down.
Pause 1 second before you do. Good Lord, I wish that we didn't have a firearm sponsor because we have to practice, firearm safety and responsibility. I wish there were a loaded gun so I could swallow it. Go ahead with your fact check.
I have one right here.
Maybe swallow a sword? I don't know. So here's the truth. A family needs to make approximately $15,000 more just to live as they did in 2021. We had some other
well, luckily, Biden's
12,
helped us by adding second jobs for everybody.
Well, yes, exactly. Second and third job.
Thank you, Joe.
By the way, he mentioned inflation. It's up 20% since Biden took office. The rate of inflation is
it's actually the worst that we've seen in modern American history.
It's
also
high.
I'm going by
Jimmy
rote.
Carter said, what?
Yeah. Well, Jimmy Carter said,
he's not dead.
At least I can go in peace now because I'm not the worst ever. So, something else is wages under Donald Trump, just in the first 3 years, went up. The average annual salaries went up over $4,000, right, when actually adjusted for inflation. Under former Vice President Biden, they went down approximately $4,100. I'm going by rote. I know that's correct. I'll just provide the references for you once this is archived because I know the lies they're going to tell before they tell them. I'm sure we have more fact checks, and then we'll go to CNN because I haven't wanted to harm myself.
I mean,
well, when you said,
here's the problem. Like, we almost broke the chat feature on our own internal system here because I'm not kidding you. It's like the fact check the entire time here. Yes. So they're actually recycling, going back like, hey, we had 74 fact checks. Here's number 3.
Okay.
Putting it back down.
This is our chat or Mug Club chat?
This is our chat. This is our internal.
Because we also appreciate Mug Club chat and the Mug Club
it right now.
Yes.
So
thank you, Mission Control.
It's actually an embarrassment of riches of information that I have to fact check.
Well, let's just keep going.
Yes,
we're not going to stop on this party. It don't stop.
Well, do me a favor, guys. If I've missed anything, I'm going to go to NATO next. So
there ain't no party like a Biden fact-checking party because Biden's a piece of shit.
And have fact-checking going on. I have one more to add to that last fact check. The income.
I don't have that.
Hold on. Wait. Everybody shut up because the man who has served his country wants to speak.
And my mouth with this beer. So $4,000 up annually for middle class.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, under Donald Trump.
4,000.
Well, what they won't mention, they won't mention that on media, by the way, but what they also won't mention is the tax breaks.
Right.
That he gave the middle class, doubling the child tax credit and doubling the standard, what do you call it? I don't know if
you're not a Jew.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but it's the standard deduction.
Yeah,
doubled the tax credit for kids.
And Joe Biden said no taxes will go up, although they did for anyone making less than
my salary,
$400,000 a year. How much do you make, Joe? It's neither here nor there.
It's actually right there.
No one else talks about it.
No,
okay, continue with the fact. I want to do this until we have 7+1 things that Biden is confirmed to be doing after retirement.
Here's not a clip, but here is a claim most recently from the Greek person, not Joe Biden because he's not Greek.
No, he's Persian.
A real Greek.
And a Jew. And black.
Fudge.
And Italian and Polish. And not a pedophile. Go.
He is a pedophile. So, claim the racial wealth gap is at its lowest. That was okay. So during COVID, Dems locked down, the economy. The gap between white and black households increased by $50,000. I'm sure they won't need that $50,000. But
they noticed that.
Black people, why are you voting for Robinette Biden or the extension? I'm sorry, Harris, but the policy is the same. By the way,
it's either rich black people or super poor.
Did you know this? Harris was voted the most liberal senator. She voted to the left of Joe Biden. Her policies were more radical, and they are scrubbing this. I'm not kidding. They are scrubbing this right now, saying, oh, well, at the end of the term, we actually looked at it, and the results changed. No. In your article, you cited the dates of the entire term. She is the most liberal senator when she was senator, and the wealth gap got worse under Biden. Let's see if she had full reign, what it would do.
Can confirm to the left, every little commie bitch in a box to the left.
That's not how the lyrics go, but
it's close.
So, NATO. I need facts on NATO.
All right. Do we have the clip? Because this is one. And by the way, before we get the fact check, before we get the fact check on this, this is one thing we do this, and just so you know, a lot of people out there in politics, they either assume you're dumb or you're in a think tank. Right now, you watching, I know you could be a doctor, you could be literally a rocket scientist, you could have a PhD, but you don't live in politics like we do 24/7, and so you just need the information to confirm what your lion eyes and lion ears know to already be true. With NATO, I'm just going by rote, but I want to make sure that I'm never asking you to take my word for it. Donald Trump was the first president to actually force people, to leverage people into paying their fair share of NATO. It was supposed to be, I believe it was either 2%, I believe it was 2% of your GDP on NATO spending. We were the only nation that was even close. We were spending close to 4%. And after President Donald Trump, other nations said we better straighten up and fly right if we expect the Americans to save us. But let's go to the clip of the piece of shit, Joseph Red Robinette Biden.
We'll keep NATO stronger, and I'll make it more powerful and more united than any time in all of our history.
All right, Gerald, fact check him. Fact check me.
No, he's not asking NATO to pay any more of their fair share. We can bring this up. Here's what Trump did with NATO. Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. There we go. Everybody's supposed to be paying 2%, like you said. He actually got people to start doing that for the first time in history. And you know what he said? He said things like, the left got really pissed off about. It's like, well, if you don't pay your fair share, I don't think we should be coming to your defense.
Yes.
And how can not every American get behind that?
I know.
How can, I mean, you can hate the guy. How can you not get behind that as an American?
I know.
Pay your fair share, or we won't come to your defense. In fact, maybe Russia should invade you. He's basically goading them into doing what they should be doing in the first place.
No, but what he's saying is, hey, if you were doing this correctly and following international law that you agreed to, then maybe you wouldn't have such a problem. Look, I know you bitch about America and our military, how we're an evil empire, but I'm going, you have all of your social safety nets, right? People say, look at Sweden, look at Canada, great social, free health care, they say. Let me change one thing, okay? Protect your own country, your own borders, go.
Yeah.
It all goes away. Why? Yeah. Why is the United States footing the bill for the rest of the free world to remain free while they bitch about how we do it? Joe Biden got back on his knees to tell the rest of these nations that he loved them, and they're not feeling any sense of urgency to spend what they were under Donald Trump. Let's continue on with the fact check. Mission Control doing a great job.
You should note that when Trump was speaking, and I'm not going to go to the clip for this, but when Trump was speaking before NATO, like, hey, you guys probably shouldn't be dependent on Russian gas, Germany was like, Sieg Heil Russian gas, and yeah. I don't know why they did that.
Steven is a judge of that.
It's a force of habit. It's a hard one to break.
And Trump was like, what? I said not to.
Well, part of it was you should buy it from us, but they were still, Germany's still wrong.
Yes.
So, idiots. Trump tried to
They've been wrong a few times,
stronger.
I think.
And this is, a fun fact, nobody invaded mainland Europe while Trump was in office.
They did it under...
because people started paying their fair share?
Always under either Barack Obama or Robinette. I'm just going to go by his middle name.
There was Crimea,
former vice president.
And then there was, right after, there was Ukraine.
Yeah, there was
didn't happen under Donald Trump. Right.
Yeah, not Game of Thrones.
Also, peace in the Middle East.
That's a big one, the Abraham Accords.
All right, so China. Donald Trump, don't trust China.
This is one, look, yes.
China is asshole.
Yes, I love that man. I hope he's still alive. Here's... they have
in Hong Kong,
they have the PrEP pill, so he should be fine. Here's the thing. No one actually believes it, I don't think, when former Vice President Biden says, like, when the previous administration, I'm going by rote, his clip, said, they left, the expectation was that China was going to be the next super. I changed that. Donald Trump, and I have said this before, that I was around a lot of financial analysts and I was around a lot of think tank people who said, well, China's the next great superpower. There's just no way. It's unavoidable, right? I have a lot of relatives who either work on Wall Street, and I kind of thought it was inevitable. Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm wrong. It's actually, for me, it's celebratory. Made me very aware that does not have to be the case, and he's the only president in modern American history to take a stand. So comment below if you think anyone is buying that Joe Biden is tough on China, even though we don't have the information of money exchanging hands for the big guy when you talk about Hunter Biden's laptop. But I believe we have a clip of Joe Biden making this claim. And then, of course, we have some references for you.
Yep.
Donald Trump, don't trust China.
I love that man as a heterosexual to a homosexual.
You think he's gay?
One guess.
No?
Right clip.
When I came to office, the conventional wisdom was that China would inevitably surpass the United States. That's not the case anymore.
Hold on, Josh has something to say before you.
I like that. Well, why are they going to get on Trump's case when he says stuff like, it's a very powerful man, great economy, knows what he's doing, great leader, all this kind of stuff, but I'm going to stop him.
Right, yeah.
Why can't they? Right there, he just did it, where he goes, they said it's inevitable, they're going to take over, they're going to be a superpower. They're not. Bullshit, they're not.
Exactly. So
why can't you just say it?
So simple.
Why can't you say, yes, they're good at what they're doing. He's great at what he's doing.
To give you an example,
we need to stop it. We need somebody to recognize that.
Winston Churchill, people don't even think about this quote, where he said, you cannot negotiate with a tiger when your head is in its mouth. He was calling Hitler and the Nazis a tiger. He was acknowledging their power, saying, we need more power. There's no benefit to simply underestimating your enemy. And make no mistake, China is the enemy of the free world. Quick, simple fact check, Captain Morgan.
All right, so Biden did keep the tariffs on China from the Trump administration. One of the very few
Tough on
things
China.
that he did, but and slammed Trump in the process, saying that his tariff policy on China was a bad move. Nonetheless, he did keep it there. But here's the thing: China is a superpower. Nobody is complaining about that. The BRICS thing, and that includes the C. That's China. That is a big deal. Everybody's talking about how oil could be traded in additional currencies, and that's a really big problem for the United States dollar. And as a show of force, not just economic, but a show of force, as recently as I think today or maybe even yesterday, we intercepted 2 different sets of jets near China, Russian bombers and Chinese bombers.
Wow.
That we intercepted. NORAD tracked those things. And that was, I think, today. It may have been yesterday. Today that it happened. Yeah. So today, Joe Biden, I think they're kind of a superpower right now. Their economy is growing and they are unchecked. Maybe it's because you're too busy cashing the check that's 10% for the big guy. I don't know. Maybe you've turned a blind eye to some of the things that are going on.
That's not a simple fact check, by the way. That was kind of wordy.
That was a lot of fact checking.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Checking of
that was kind of wordy. But I think the main point is he continued the policy.
Near Alaska. That intercept was near Alaska.
He continued the policy of the tariffs on China. But he has, it's kind of a miracle. I don't know if you know this. China, Russia, they really shouldn't be good bedfellows.
They're not.
But Joe Biden, he's a matchmaker.
Yeah. And then keeping the tariffs and then bashing Trump, the guy who put the tariffs in place after keeping the tariff. That's like a girl bashing her boyfriend for calling her fat and breaks up with him and then immediately loses 50 pounds and says, look at how great I look. That piece of shit called me fat.
I know that girl.
And you're like, what?
She looks great.
She does look great.
But you should have done it for yourself, not for the approval of others. Because now you're healthier and no one can take that away from you.
Yes.
Do we have more to continue to fact check?
I think that's about, well, I mean, we talked about the balloon. Relative to China, we let a balloon kind of traverse the entire, length, width, and breadth of the United States a couple of times because, balloons are dodgy and hard to shoot down.
All right. Well, let's go and see what CNN is saying. And I'm sure Mission Control has some clips from, thank you so much, people on the nightly news, on legacy media outlets.
Because why not?
Yeah, could I have one too, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was still playing the drinking game while Gerald was fact checking.
Yeah, every time I'm thirsty, I've been drinking.
Yeah, there's 2 of you. Let's see what they have to say.
To Biden's point. And so for me, that's pure poetry. And that's what makes this nation great. And I think before we get into the numbers and move on, and we've got to spend some time appreciating that fact, not just about Joe Biden, but about who Kamala Harris represents and about who we want to be as a
criminals.
nation.
Scott, I want to play some things that some Republicans have been saying about President Biden, his decision to get out and moving Harris up.
Here's a time where they vilify Republicans.
It's clear these guys don't actually care about democracy. They don't care about the will of the voters.
Fact check true.
They just care about power.
Those 15, 16 million Democrat primary voters, they don't matter. Now the Democrats are rigging their own elections, Laura. I mean, this is hysterical. I mean, it looks like, dare we say it, an insurrection.
Leading Washington Democrats prevailed upon President Biden to toss
why'd they play this on half speed?
The nomination in limbo. While party bosses anoint another candidate.
14 million people went through the process and chose this nominee, Joe Biden. Now a handful of people have gotten together.
I want to see CNN's rebuttal to this. I want to see their defense of this.
They're violating democratic principles.
I mean, Mike Johnson, Liz Cheney has said that he played a key role in trying to overturn the 2020 election. She wrote in her book that
if Liz Cheney said it,
quote,
then it must be bitchy.
When I confronted him with the flaws in his legal arguments, Johnson would often concede or say something to the effect of, we just need to do this one last thing for Trump. Worse, she says he was
telling
our colleagues he was a
something to the effect of.
You see this right now? You see this right now? This is what Donald Trump
It does seem kind of hypocritical.
They just made a comment regarding democracy, our constitutional republic, and the fact that someone is being installed. 14 million people voted for Biden. They're saying that's wrong, that's not democratic. And these people right now are actively trying to, but Liz Cheney said this January 6th. These people, they are the enemy of the American people. And that is why November 5th, 2024. These people are not going to determine. They will not be counting the votes. It's not just local representatives or the DNC counting the votes. It's the media undergirding them. This will be the only place where we ensure that you know it is bullshit in real time. Remember last time when even Fox News, they all called Arizona with less than, was it 10% or 2% of the vote? Mission Control can fact check me on that.
Higher than that.
We were here, and that was a turning point for me. I felt so helpless. I said, I know that can't be right. And by the way, it's a state that was determined by a mere 10,000 votes total. That's less than a semi-pro sports team arena. Think about that.
Less than the Oakland A's for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Full pro.
I don't understand the sports reference, but I'm sure it's correct.
You guys get it right. Yes.
But that's what, and it was a turning point for me where I said, I kept thinking and ruminating, contemplating, meditating, saying, how can we ensure that this never happens again?
Yeah.
No one in new media had an answer. And so we've been thinking and preparing to make sure that we have an answer. These people, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNBC, and by the way, YouTube, Google, Facebook, Instagram, they're the enemy of a free people. Be very, very clear about that. And that's why we're betting it all on black on the election night, because we know that that's a night where you need people to serve you, and they're not doing it.
Yeah.
Look at their pivot right now. I want to see their answer as they continue to try and rebut this.
I certainly questioned his ability to stay in.
Voters got new information when the debate happened. I think a lot of us...
New information? By the way, she's a Republican who worked on Donald Trump. That's what she's their token about.
Says.
Former Trump White House communications director. She looks like one.
He was not the coronated candidate. He had not accepted the party's nomination yet. Kamala Harris, when they voted in the primary, they knew they were voting for her as vice president. So I wouldn't argue she didn't actually get any votes.
I mean, this was tough inside the party, though. I mean, the arguments that you're making, Scott, were actually arguments that were being made within our party.
And I hate to say it, but I'm going to need another one because someone's hairspray got in this. It tastes like watermelon lip gloss.
It does.
It was hard for us.
Which is
my body spray.
It's nice to smell, not to drink.
And the fact that, frankly, a lot of African Americans voted was real source of rug burn and heartburn inside the party.
Rug burn?
But
not to be confused with half Kamala Harris sunburn.
Deep fried and some more rules. And the rules allowed for this. And people, you vote for the delegates. And ultimately, it's the delegates that make the decision. Right. And so it's the delegates that were voted
to save democracy, talk about the technical issues of the rules that allow them to screw you. And then go cry again over what a great party it is, Van Jones.
And then these cocksuckers will say, well, Hillary got the popular vote.
Hey, don't talk about Kamala that way.
Making the decision. So I think the idea that just party bosses came in and knocked him off isn't right. But this was not easy for us. You are not wrong, Scott. There was real heartburn inside the party about this. But we are not a cult.
But take some Prevacid and shut the fuck up.
You're not
we
a
got
cult?
no information about our leader, and we decided that we had a responsibility to the country and to the party to give somebody else a shot.
Sex with my
Was
wife?
it new information?
Hold on. Listen.
Yes, it was. This has been my point all night.
Yeah, that's what we disagree.
was not new information.
It was new for us.
Good job.
Hey, look, can I just say something about this? Because it comes up all the time. I think that right-wingers really think that we knew all the time. We're just sitting there
It was obvious. The American people knew.
So just to be clear, Van Jones's defense is, I'm an idiot.
Well, that's true.
You think we knew that he wasn't mentally fit? Who are we, Nostradamus? What do you think? We got a crystal ball? Do I look like Zoltar up in this motherfucker? Hey, I don't know, maybe 70% of Americans knew. 70% of Americans knew, and not one prick on a CNN panel knew. 70% of Americans believed he was unfit, and everyone on CNN, you didn't just say, we disagree with the American people, as you do now, because you hate a constitutional republic, you hate a representative government. You told them they were wrong and they were crazy. The majority of your own voters said, this man is not fit. Maybe we need someone else. We need some kind of a primary at this point. And only you, CNN and NBC, ABC, CBS, and the fact checkers who are determined to be authoritative by Facebook and YouTube and Google, those are the only people on earth who thought that not only was former Vice President Biden fit mentally, but he was more fit than Donald Trump. Don't forget, cheap fakes and the attacks on Donald Trump before the debate were, we should be looking into Donald Trump's mental fitness because we know how fit that Biden is. We all know it.
That's what they're saying now, too.
Look, I'm wrong.
They go
wrong. So look at the speech that night. I told you about half of his speech was ad-libbed. He had 3,000 words
Donald
in his
Trump,
speech.
yeah.
9,000 words ad-libbed that were not in the speech. 9,000. Joseph Biden couldn't do that if he strung all the words together and we counted that separately. Okay?
The best words.
If we counted that as 50 words, he couldn't do that. It wouldn't be possible.
He couldn't do it if he was following the bouncing ball to Schoolhouse Rock.
That's true. If he was just saying letters of the alphabet. But listen to me right now. When they go back to that panel, I want to go back because if he does not, and that person, I can't remember his name, has done a fantastic job of holding their feet to the fire. Van Jones, you are full of shit. You did not think that Joseph Biden was perfectly in shape to run for president. You said it because you wanted him to beat Donald Trump, and you didn't want this to be about his fitness. No one thought that. Go back to 2019. You can find my tweets. You can find Steven's, probably Nick DiPaolo's as well, saying this guy is not fit to run for president.
Go back to 2016. Go back to the election night.
I know. It's not even possible that they are the last people on the planet to figure out that this guy is not cognitively capable of being president of the United States.
And this man, Van Jones, comes on here today and says, we didn't know that. We didn't know he was unfit. Meanwhile, with a straight face months ago, this year, saying literally he's in the best shape, the most fit he's ever been.
That was Joe Scarborough.
That was Joe Scarborough.
Yeah.
No, that multiple people said it. Van Jones said it too.
Joe Scarborough went harder in the paint than anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, Van Jones echoed it.
Yeah, and it's like no one at 81 is going to be better than they were at 35.
There is no door number 3. It is either complete and total incompetence, in which case legacy media, your job no longer exists, or corruption and collusion, in which case your job no longer exists.
It's gone.
There is no door number 3.
Yeah.
You have to believe that Van Jones and Anderson Cooper actually were the only people
Jake
left.
Tapper, Mike Wallace, everybody on that
who
panel.
believed that Joe Biden was fit, that he was sharp, that he was the best Joe Biden we've seen. You either have to believe that they believed that or that they were lying to you.
You're carrying his water. It was never more clear than the fitness of Joe Biden, because then you said, oh, it's a speech impediment. He has had a stutter since he was a child. Then you said, oh, it's ageism. You're going after somebody for this. Then you said every other possible thing. By the way, Bernie Sanders.
Hold on, let's go to Bernie Sanders. He's going to say, I think he's a good man. But son of a bitch, we've been here before. Shit. Fucking shit.
I wish you would.
Go to him.
You have yet
to
endorse. Are you prepared to do so?
I'm going to work as hard as I can to see that Donald Trump, the most dangerous president in American history, is defeated, and that Kamala Harris is, in fact, the next
he didn't put us in a
president of
25-year
the
war.
United States.
Fine.
But before
She
I
won't
make
be.
a formal announcement, I just want to make certain that the vice president is going to be campaigning on issues that the working class of this country,
Like a third
working
house
class that has long
for
been
every household.
forgotten,
And
Poor
Russia
Bernie, such a
needs
pussy.
to
a
hear.
great place to vacation.
And I want to just make sure that the vice president will
Still
be
cuts for this
working
party
with
that
President
screwed him.
Biden, and with me and others,
And in every house.
to demand that the
a balloon
wealthiest
for
people
a
in this
hairbrush.
country start paying their fair share of taxes, that when we have 50% of our elderly people living on $30,000 a year or less, that we expand Social
Bernie, look at the
Security
camera. Come on.
benefits by lifting the
Not the
cap on
monitor.
Can't ask an
taxable
autist
income
to
so
do
the
that. It's
rich
like
start
Rain Man.
paying
He's counting
their fair
toothpicks.
share. I want to
He's
hear her
looking
be
at the monitor,
strong
I bet.
in contrasting herself with Trump and making it clear that we have got to save this planet from climate change.
Bernie is I
That we're
believe it.
pro-union.
He
make it
believes
easier
Bernie.
for workers to join union. We raise
He's
the
wrong,
minimum wage,
but he believes Bernie.
the living wage. That we deal with the fact
Bernie
that we
believes
have
Bernie.
the highest
Yeah, he's
rate
wrong.
of
Yeah,
childhood
sure.
poverty
I believe
of
him.
almost any
Yes.
major country on earth. So we got to start focusing on issues that working class people desperately need to hear. When 60%.
You mean
of
the working
Americans are
class
living
people who saw a
paycheck to paycheck,
$4,000 increase in their annual purchasing power? I think they saw it, Bernie.
Obviously, she's still looking for a governing partner at this time. We've seen the list of candidates that they are vetting right now.
85% of people
a lot of them
make
are
less money
moderate
than me.
members of the
That's right.
Democratic
Problem.
Party. And I wonder if when you look at that list,
And when
you'd like
my
to
wife
see her
embezzles
maybe
money from a
cast the
community
wire
college
net to
in Vermont,
include someone who has championed
this is something
some
that
of the
shouldn't be
same
allowed to
issues
state.
that
But
get reelected.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Simpsons unibrow, baby.
Speculation as to who might be a running mate, but I certainly would like to see somebody who has a history of standing up to the oligarchs who have so much power in this country.
Do you mean like Mark Zuckerberg? Do you mean like CEOs of Google and YouTube?
Oh, Bezos?
Yeah, I certainly would like to see that person be the vice president.
Do you mean the single greatest transfer of wealth that we saw under COVID to the tune of trillions of dollars to the wealthiest 1% because of your policy of lockdowns? You guys can fact check that. You played a role in it. You were masking up like a pussy.
It is just possible for the 83rd time that Trump is lying. No, I don't think that is the case. I think that the vice president had a very strong record in
Well, you
US
tell us
Senate,
one lie, Bernie, and it's the one that matters most, that not just socialism, but communism works.
It does for him. Bread lines are great.
It's a good thing.
Lack of competition is a good thing.
It's a good thing.
I get to live fat and happy.
I am going to do everything I can to make sure that she wins. But I just want to hope that in the next few days and weeks, we can make sure that we put together a campaign that focuses on the needs of working class. So make no mistake about it, I'm with her.
Handout.
And I'm going to do everything that they can.
I have to bend over to be pegged by the bitch of the party that screwed me in 2016! And there's nothing I can do about it, Miss Collins! Secretary, I'm glad he took off 4 months to breastfeed his child, who also is disappointed in him.
Some 70% of the people in Israel in the last poll that was taken want to resign. So he came here and he got a good reception from the Republicans.
Aren't we glad I didn't do the macho?
Wait, hold on. Listen. Yeah. Hey, Biden, it's time for Biden, it's time for fresh, young voices. Kamala's 60.
What I believe to be true.
That's not old. Relative to 81, but 60 is not a young.
I remember when I was 16. What's the matter with you?
I'm just saying.
That's a great point.
Young.
That's a great point.
She hasn't been fresh in 39,
right? Like, so that's a different.
So thanks for the endorsement, Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, look behind you. There's her eggs.
I don't know. It's like it's time for those whippersnappers, the 60-year-olds, to take over. AARP hasn't gotten them yet.
You fascist son of a bitch! It's not time to bring up her barren womb.
CNN was talking about that earlier. Actually.
Were they?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, her husband's. I don't know his name because it's not. She took a different. She has her own name.
Whatever.
But her husband, the cuck, his ex-wife and their kids or whatever. The ex-wife's like, yeah, here she helps with our kids or whatever.
Yeah,
don't say her womb looks like Dune.
I didn't. I said it looked like you wouldn't get the Star Wars reference, but Tatooine.
Yeah. Oh,
hold on. Biden, I revere this office, but I love my country more. When did that start? When was the flash of genius moment?
Well, everyone loves their whoever pays them.
Listen. I'm sorry. This doesn't get to go unanswered. When did the flash of genius moment happen? It never did. No. You were forced out. That's not democracy. That's power brokers. That's Alice Jones type stuff.
Counterpoint. I was flashed by a member of Mensa on the L train in 1982.
Also, the
huge cock.
How big was it?
It made Bernie Goetz look positively like, honey, I shrunk my cock.
Bernie, you're an ignorant slut.
As he is maybe.
When he said, I love this, I revere his office, but I love my country more, you don't have to say that. We expect that, actually.
Yes!
Now I don't believe you.
Yeah.
You said it, now I don't believe you.
So the best way forward is to
I haven't
pass
done
the torch
Bernie Godfrey in at least 3 years.
Yeah, I know. It's nice to hear him again. Sort of.
It was the least popular show ever.
I know.
Where Bernie Godfrey hosted the entire Daily Louder with Crowder.
Yeah, it was awkward
for 2 hours. You're like, when is this going to stop?
Who was in third chair?
How about never?
Oh,
you ungrateful pisshead!
It's a great impression.
There are a lot of Democrats who are actually breathing a sigh of relief and viewing the Trump campaign as rather flat-footed. The Senate candidate in Pennsylvania, Dave McCormick, put up an ad that cast Kamala Harris as a left of Bernie Sanders, or at least as left as Bernie Sanders liberal. The Trump campaign
looks like the fat bitch in stories we tell in the dark.
In the 2020
insubordinate,
when she was running
churlish
Joe Biden to get the nomination, she came around to a number of liberal positions that were not her. She had never spoken out in favor of the Senate. Everybody in that campaign was moving. There were a lot of Democrats saying, "Why didn't the Trump campaign drop a bunch of millions of dollars, even if it was crude?"
I'd like to bash that.
So that's Senator Sanders. He's done this.
Maybe if I were 40 years younger, and she weren't a filthy whore.
Great fundraising list. He has a great organizational list. He has a ton of PACs in places where she could use the help. And there are a lot of Democrats out there who love Joe Biden for kicking Trump out of the White House, but have kind of become demoralized and despondent even. There was despair.
Please fill us in on
Sunday afternoon.
why that may be, John King. Why were they demoralized? Donald Trump couldn't even post on X, for crying out loud.
They're demoralized because their liberal governor shut down their state and shut down small businesses and ruined lives and ruined the middle class.
By the way, just so you have a kind of an understanding of where these jets were intercepted near Alaska, that's kind of a big deal. Russia and China hanging out over there.
I mean, it's pretty close.
I mean, it's not supposed to be exact, but it's pretty close. That's not good.
Finally, that bitch, Sarah Palin, has to pay.
I don't think the bridge to nowhere is a big deal anymore. Let's move on.
You can see Russia from my ass.
Oh, that's not true. I've never seen your posterior, though, so I'm not sure.
Get in line, Firestine.
Oh, that's rhyming. That's a good Democratic platform right there. You rhyme.
I make a good cipher.
All right.
Can't wait for that mixtape.
How's your voice?
It's more of an EP.
Oh, boy.
Like Linkin Park.
If I keep encouraging this, tomorrow's sketches will be great.
Which, by the way, was the 9/11 of albums. Linkin Park's last EP. I think it's time to go to this week's 7+1
Oh, really?
things that Biden is confirmed to be doing in his retirement. You forgot Stefan in the chamber.
All right, this is actually this week's 7+1 things that former Vice President Biden will be doing and confirmed to be doing in retirement. Number 7, a long overdue father-son crack cocaine fishing trip.
Oh, come on. You can't do crack.
Well, come on.
That's wholesome. Come on.
I mean,
who doesn't like getting fucking sped up on the lake?
Alligator Gar love the cocaina.
He knows. Don't let it near the bears, though. Ends badly.
7+1 things that Biden will be doing in retirement confirmed. Number 6, Captain Morgan.
Working on his memoir.
Wow. Well, for people on audio, that's way worse.
That's
if you don't see it. It's the theater of the mind, they say.
A little bit.
7+1 things Biden will be doing in retirement confirmed. Number 5, Josh Firestine.
Settling his feud with Corn Pop in a winner-take-all pickleball match.
Well, that is racist. It's not fair. They're not known for playing.
Corn Pop has a beard.
Pickleball.
Yeah, Corn Pop, he matured.
He didn't challenge him to a swimming.
He's a bad dude.
Number 4, secretly hiding stakes under chairs at the DNC and letting Major loose. That is.
Where's the fire hose?
Take that dog on a walk or something. Christ.
How many Secret Service agents?
You got a squeaky ball or something? Why even have a dog?
7+1 things Biden will be doing in retirement confirmed from our sources. Number 3, Captain Morgan.
Getting some ink.
Oh, well, that's, I gotta say.
Whoa.
What's that say?
It says
That's a lot of
This is
holy crap. Yeah, I heart Ashley. That's fun. We know.
7+1 things Biden will be doing in retirement. Number 2, Josh.
Starting his new podcast called The Joe Biden Experience.
Now.
Derivative.
And
sleeping all day.
Doing
drugs by night.
All day, every day. And the number 1 thing that Biden will be doing confirmed in his retirement is actually taking part in his new reality series, Ice Cream Road Truckers.
Come on,
that is
that's not.
Hey,
come
hey,
on.
no,
That's an insult to the Ice Truckers.
That's not fair to the melody. And the plus one is figuring out who Kamala Harris is. What? I don't even know. Well, I guess that's true. That's been this week's 7+1.
I thought the bitch was white! You forgot Stefan in the chamber!
Well, so did her dad, and so did her Indian mother. Her dad was Caucasian.
Hey, don't talk about Shyamala Gabala like that.
Shyamala.
Like,
my mom's name is Shamala. And your dad's name is what? Donald J. Harris?
Yeah.
You're expelled.
He listed himself as Caucasian on his on her birth certificate, I think.
Really?
Yeah. So what part of her is black?
I don't know.
We're still
hold
guessing.
on. She was the first. Hold on, guys. Research pulled this up. I think in 2016, Donald Trump tweeted this out. She was the first Indian senator.
South Asian.
South Asian.
She doesn't say Indian.
Senator.
She says Asian, which,
Yeah.
by the way, I don't know an Indian person. I know a lot of them. I don't know one that calls himself Asian.
Oh, the mother
Not
is listed
one.
as
Yeah,
Caucasian.
technically,
Sorry.
like, well, I'm
Father
Asian,
was
but I mean,
too.
I'm
Sorry.
Indian, but it's technically
Thank you,
Asian.
Georgie boy. I appreciate it.
It's like, I don't think Egyptians call themselves Africans.
All right, here we go.
Can I ask the Black Mug Club member something?
Insider, pull
Yeah,
that up.
hold on. He wants to ask
I want to ask the Black
He wants
Club.
to ask the Black Mug Club or something.
Black Mug Clubbers. Who would you rather have, Kamala Harris or Rachel Dolezal?
Charlemagne.
Or, nah, I'm not gonna add him.
Oh God.
Let me know.
That's a good
G.
question because we're going to take
Rachel
some.
Dolezal did things for black people.
Yeah, at OnlyFans.
Well, that was after.
Come on. I don't know about that. That's true.
What?
It was subsidized.
California's Kamala Harris becomes first Indian American U.S. Senator. This is AP, by the way, November 8th of 2016. Let's just, I mean, but then she became the first black vice president.
Of course.
Depending on, I mean, this is like Joe Biden's playbook where he just claims all of the different, races.
Well, he's green.
Her campaign slogan was, "I can't believe it's not butter chicken."
That's good and also bad.
Too spicy!
Where did the...
What do you mean, where'd it go? You have it in your hand.
And by the way, we know, look, a lot of people out there, tonight they just thought, this is kind of par for the course. I will say, very proud of what the team has put together. I don't think that they could have done a better job helping us fact check this live. My voice is shot. Thank God we didn't do the interview with Macho Man Randy Savage earlier.
Oh
today.
God, because
that would have been, that would have been pretty tough.
Yeah,
because it's also terrible because he's a fan of Bernie, and
is he really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
thought he was dead.
was raised in Montpelier. Yeah.
Now we can't tape it tomorrow.
No. Look, go to louderwithcrowder.com/mugclub. Or right now, if you're watching on Rumble, if you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate you, but I may not like you. Go to Rumble, click that button. That's what allows us to, election night, mark it in your calendar, the election live stream of the century, Rumble on Rumble. No more tricks. Nothing happens in darkness. If you saw this tonight, and you saw the response from CNN, MSNBC, all of the leftists on Twitter, you already should have a good idea as to the playbook. And if you're still not alarmed, please check the references that we make publicly available to you in the link in the description, louderwithcrowder.com. Also, we have more 3 and 3s. We've received your feedback coming up, I believe, next week. Look, people have sometimes asked, like, hey, what is the goal here with what we do? And yeah, it's an entertainment show. It's really to be the only comedy show out there that hasn't endorsed Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden, but it's an army. And I don't mean that as far as political violence. I mean an army of people who can go out and change minds yourself. That has been why we have set out to do what it is that we've worked so hard at hopefully accomplishing. Eventually, it's why we've remained independent. It's why yours truly owns 100% of this company. We answer to nobody but you. Not a foreign caliphate, not one centralized ad agency, and certainly not the protocols, the guidelines of big tech. We answer to you, and on election night, I really, really hope and pray that everyone here on Legacy Media fears you. They should. You should be the shadow looming in their closet, under their bed, where they know they're going to pull some tricks, but they're also afraid we don't know how much of this we can pull, because we know there are going to be millions of people tuning in and paying attention to what we kind of had a monopoly on in 2016 and 2020. We want this to be a seismic shift the foundation here of how elections are conducted, how we observe them, and how we report on them. And none of this is possible without you. If you're watching on Rumble, click that button right there below. Join. If you're watching on YouTube, louderwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. We are going to go and a love letter to Mug Club. See who is going to hopefully get Gerald's $100. Don't take it out of petty cash.
Josh's.
And take your chats along with a wrap up. YouTube, thank you, but not really. Piss off.